Discretion is advised.
In a world full of podcasts, you love Chicago Bears podcasts. Sometimes you so badly wish that you could be a part of the show. You must be sick and tired of typing your words into a keyboard. You have been stuck in the chat zone. Your voice matters. Why not use it? Well, now is your chance on Bears Barroom Open Mic Night, where you are the show.
I have to tell you guys, I am very excited. I've had a long couple of weeks of work. I've been very busy, and quite frankly, I'm just sick of doing stuff on a computer. I just want to talk to some of my Bears friends about my beloved Bears. So tonight is an impromptu open mic night where we're hoping to have a special guest, and we have some of the usual cast who have agreed to join us because they want to talk Bears just as much as you and I do. Nomad, how are you doing, my friend? How do you feel today? Because I've been listening to stuff all day. I've been busting my ass at work, listening to different Bears podcasts, and I'm just fired up, man. This is amazing. We're one of the first times in our lives, if not the only time in our lives, it probably is the first time in our lives, I should say, in this position that we've always craved being in. We've seen other teams in this position, and here we are in this position. Oh, man, tell me how you feel.
I'm just going to say this. You'll never find a bear love like mine. So what we've been doing lately, you guys, is trying to figure out, and we just talking amongst each other as a group before we do shows, what's the bear market look like on the weekend. And I've been stressing to Aldo, I'm pretty sure Shorty has, that there's a weekend market. It's like we can't do enough Bears content stuff. And so I stressed to Aldo, I stressed to Shorty, and we talked about it a little bit. And one thing I can remember hearing one time, I was in another podcast chat, and somebody said to me, hey, man, you know what? If the bar room was open 24/7, I would be there. And I laughed at him, and he let me know pretty damn clear that I'm not fucking around, dude. I'm serious. I love you guys' stuff and what y'all are putting out there. So I brought that to the guys, and I think that's what Shorty's mind is at right now. And we just want to talk to people and share some of that love, man. And, you know, it's some really interesting stories going on out there, some things that's going on, some things that are not going on that we wish were going on, but all of it's worth discussion, man, because we're all bros in this shit. So that's just where my head is at.
I just can't get enough of it, man. I can't get enough of it. And I just want to talk about it. I mean, everyone here wants to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm excited to have some of our guests from the previous shows on. Let's bring them on in order of hilarity. Let's start with cover Maurice Lester, I should say. Maurice Lester, how you doing tonight? You're muted, buddy.
Muted, man.
Unmute yourself. Happens every time.
I should be muted on a daily basis, at least once a day. How you doing, guys? Mo Lester, let's talk some frickin' Bears, baby.
Mo, it's great to see you again. I got to tell you, Mo.
I love it. I love it. What's happening, man? Oh, wait, you know, I real quick, I don't mean to take your time up because we got I'm still trying to figure out why the Bears are getting red olives from Buffalo or some shit, but we'll get on to that later. I was gonna pick up some cash and I was trying to find an ATM, but I don't have one. I just happen to have an FTM. So I wanted you guys to meet my better half. This is my wife's sister. What the hell's her name again, lady?
Hey.
He calls me Floppy Tits McGee.
What's up,
So
Floppy?
give me some cash and get out of here. She's looking for Chris Watts.
Chris, where's you, Chris?
Get the hell away from me, woman. Go feed a kid.
Chris,
Go feed a kid or something. Come on now. Get your breast off of me, God damn it, Jesus. Get those breasts off of me, lady.
he
All right.
needed the ATM.
She can
Give
feed
me
the
some
whole
cash,
village with all
bitch.
that.
Oh, excuse me.
Hey, you made me stay.
Which state do you guys
Somebody's
live
got
in?
to do it. Just my word, man. Just my word. Maybe we bring in some other guests because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All right.
How the
Maurice
fuck do we
Lester.
get lucky enough to get Jesse the Body Ventura?
Maurice Lester at loadofcrap.me. Love it. Let's go in order here with you guys know him well. Triple R. It is great to have you back, man. Thanks for joining us on this impromptu show, my friend. Let's talk some Bears. How you feeling tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm always ready to talk Bears, but like people in the chat, you know, I'm just tired of the talk. You know, all of this, all of that. It's like, nah. Well, it's like we're fucked because we got no right tackle. You know, we're fucked. We got no D-line. This team's going to be horrible. It's like, but we still, yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, it's Friday night. You know, I'm chilling. I'm not as active as, you know, fucking Foster over there. You know what? I'm Nomad, you know, whole crew. Looking forward to it.
Foster he's a recovered man. He's high on life right now. It's amazing.
Man,
Oh, he's high on a cigarette. PJ, it is great to see you again as always.
What's happening, people? How you guys doing tonight?
What up, PJ?
cool,
It is-
cool.
It is always great to see you guys and spend time with you guys, talking Bears.
It is great to see you again too, my friend. You know, I just got to thinking today. We've just never been in the position that we had. You know, last year didn't feel that bad. We were in those games. It was close in most of those games. There was barely a blowout, and some of them just got out of hand late. But most of them, they were in most of the time. And it just reflecting on it, it's hard to believe that we had the number one pick. And then what some people think that we could have gotten more. I like to be optimistic and say that I think we got a great deal, especially with DJ Moore. And the players that we've signed, and we've taken some good players away from the Panthers, which could help, you know, with that pick that we get from them next year. I'm just very optimistic, and I'm looking at I'm listening to the players that we signed, and they all fit the mold of what the players that they signed and drafted last year. They're fitting this mold, this narrative that Ryan Poles is setting. And it's so Bears, but it's like, it feels to me for the first time like Bears in a different way. And that's what's got me really like almost goosebumps. And I just wanted to get on here tonight and talk with you guys, man. So I'll let you kind of, how do you guys feel about what I just said? Like, this is the first time we've ever been here. We traded the pick. We've got extra picks next year. I mean, I know that we could, you know, use an earlier second round pick, but I mean, just the overall enthusiasm. Are you up or down? Are you riding the kite like I am? Or are you guys a little more lull? Go ahead. I'll start with you, Maurice.
Forgot that was on there, man. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys again. I am the clown because you got to laugh on a daily basis or life can get you down, man. Man, you know me. I am the optimist. I've been looking at a lot of things that we've been talking about. So they've been talking about so many things on Twitter and all over the place. The Ed Oliver move, all these different things that they're talking about. And I find myself being excited one moment and then being honest with myself and looking at this situation and going, you know, and not everything, but some of them we need to do, some of them we don't. I mean, I said it last week, man. I just polls. He's doing the things that I just like, man. We're nothing's dumb. Nothing. I mean, nothing. Okay, what? The pick for Claypool, I still think that's a great move, and I'm not going to say one way or the other with that until November or December. Then I'll make my decision on that. But with everything that's going on that they're talking about, they're throwing all these scenarios out there, and it's easy to get caught up. I started agreeing with a bunch of these scenarios, but it doesn't have to be that way. Thank God I'm not making the choices for this team, because I'd be all over the place. There's too many options. Man, just intelligent. Stay with the thing. Don't try to force any player to come here or force anything to happen in a certain way. Let it happen naturally. If it works out, it's going to work out. How many guys have they talked about coming to the Bears in the last 3 days? Because I've been on Twitter way too much. I'm spending too much time on it. I'd rather be sitting here listening to you guys and talking to guys in the chat than a bunch of that stuff.
You have to retweet those tweets I put out there to Robert Tanyan and T.J. Edwards, because of where they grew up geographically from where I grew up, the town north and the town west of me, and that just warms my heart. It would be amazing to have them guys on a show. If you guys see that tweet, you have to retweet it.
Foster,
I haven't looked at it. I haven't looked at anything today, man. I'll let somebody else talk, because I'm just a little bit all over the place. I'm excited to be here again, man. I'm excited.
Foster, stay out of Twitter. It's a shithole country. Can't do nothing but get hit in the head and robbed and
it's true.
Get your money took and all that shit, man. Stay out of there.
Well, if I'm Maurice Lester, I could probably get robbed and beaten anywhere, but I'm not him, thank God.
Triple R, how do you feel, man? Like, let's give us your thoughts here, buddy. How do you feel?
Man,
you riding the bike with me?
Well, with the Twitterverse, build that wall. I get that, being in this position that we've never been in as a franchise in our lifetimes, ever. With the draft capital, the access money with the cap, not access, but the cap money that I know is burning a hole in some pockets, with just the general guidance of the ship that Ryan Poles is doing. And, to be 37 years old, which strikes me, he's the smartest guy in the room without trying to be the smartest guy in the room, because he's always giving props to his team. He's always giving shouts out to agents and, the little guys. So he's aware of the surroundings, and, teamwork makes the dream work. If everybody's bought into the system and feels heard and feels seen, they're going to give their best. And we look at the acquisitions, exactly what the man has said, young and athletic, value signings, no overspending, young guys 25 and under entering their prime or getting ready to get in their prime, so he's sticking to the formula. And just knowing that he has that team, he's the GM, his say goes finally, but he believes in that team aspect. And, Ian Cunningham is right there at his right hand, ready to be a GM, right in his ear, giving that feedback. So just in general, I'm loving the way we're going. I wish I could sim, this next month and get to the draft. And then it's going to be all about, oh, God, we got to wait to see these motherfuckers play. We want to see them on the field. So, just be present and be like, yeah, Bears fan. It's like, oh, yeah, y'all suck. Yeah, whatever. But the future is looking bright. I'm still charged, but I'm a little more mellow because it's all sunk in.
This offseason waiting for the draft is like having all the presents sitting under the tree, and you can't just peel away the tape to look at what's there, right? You're just, it's
shaking it. What is? I think I know what this. Oh, this shakes like a sweater. I don't know.
Right. PJ, how are you feeling, my man?
I'm doing all right, fellas. I'm doing all right. Let me say this. First of all, I think Poles is doing a great job. I like what he's doing. However, I'm a little bit concerned as a Tevin Jenkins fan because me being a Tevin Jenkins fan, hearing him one moment as a possible right guard, left guard, maybe even a left tackle, or not left tackle, left guard, makes me concerned about how they did Kyle Long, moved him all over the board, moved him a couple of different places. He really couldn't get settled in. So I'm like, I don't want to see us waste his talent by not having him settled into one particular spot. Me personally, as you guys know, I'm a fan of him being a right tackle. But with the uncertainty and them possibly moving him around, I'm apprehensive and concerned about that.
Yes, I agree with you entirely on that. You look like you wanted to say something there.
I like the Derek Carr comment down there, man.
Oh,
Poles on track to be an executive of the year. I'm excited. I believe that too, man. I think it's going to shake out that way.
mm-hmm.
I have, I've pulled back from last week. I've been so excited this whole year. Like somebody mentioned, even that season sucked,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't, because we can see I think we can see what we're in for at some point in time. Not all these guys that were on that team last year, but some of these guys, few of them are going to stick around and just make it so exciting. I said this last week too, man. I think there's another move that's gonna get everybody's blood pumping again. It's coming. I don't know what it is.
I feel
but
it
it's
too.
coming,
I think
man.
it's gonna be during the draft.
I agree.
What's
During the
that?
draft.
I think it's going to be during the draft.
Yeah.
During the draft, I'll agree with that. They're going to be dancing on draft night when they trade that number 9 pick for somebody in 2 picks or something.
How many games have you been to, Foster?
I have not been to a game. The last game I was at, honestly, I can't think of how many games I've been to, but it was the last game Kramer played on Detroit. So it's been a long time. Not counting preseason. I can't do the weather down there in December and stuff anymore, man. It just kills me.
Wow,
I'd rather sit on the couch and relax and watch them. It's just the way I am. I like going to the preseason games because you can run around and do stuff.
That might have been the game
And it'll be, you know what? I kind of got tired of Soldier Field too. I've been there for a ton of events.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's just it wasn't the greatest, man. A lot of
Soldier
history.
Field is a shithole.
Well, yeah, yeah. Some of us are nicer, I'm loving it though, man. I just want to see. I'm watching this stuff every day, little by little. Things people are saying, and it doesn't even matter when they say crap about the Bears, because there's 10 guys saying the opposite.
right.
So people are complaining about moves and this and that. It's going to happen no matter what you do. People are going to bitch. But the glass is always half full to me, man. And I'm really loving it.
Real quick. I want to give a shout out to my little brother, Marcellus Jordan, in the chat. I think it's his first time in a chat. He's a big Bear fan like I am. We go back way many years being Bears fans. So I just want to give a shout out to my little brother.
Right on, little brother.
Marcellus.
When I say little, he ain't little. He's my younger brother. I should say that. Grown man, 52 years old. So man, yeah.
He's a grown ass man.
Can I say,
I'm still learning him. So what else, Shouty?
Hey, thank you, Marcellus, for coming, man. Hey, do me a favor. Bring one with you next time. When you come, bring another one with you. And I would encourage everybody in the chat to do that. Bring one with you. I appreciate you for that. Hey, I appreciate that, PJ. You brought one with you, man. That's respect right there.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Marcellus. Cheers to Marcellus.
Cheers, indeed.
Can I get my piece in on this whole?
Please get your piece in.
Because unfortunately I have to look at Twitter for news and things like that. Bears news, that's really all I'm in it for, and to help try to promote the best way I can. I'm not active. I've told you guys that many times. However, let me tell you something. Some of the things that I see on Twitter, I just know right off the top, I'd probably beat your ass at my barbecue. I'd probably beat your ass quick because you be doing some wild shit. You be saying some wild shit. and it don't make no sense. We got people already criticizing the roster when the roster isn't even 50% built. Like, why? What are we talking about wins and losses already, and the roster isn't even 50% built?
Remember when everyone was talking about the draft and we're like, we haven't even gotten through free agency yet, and now we've gotten through free agency for the most part. I mean, there'll be more signed, but those are the big ones. And then now it's like back to the same thing. Well, the draft still has to happen, guys. So yeah,
Right. It's here's one thing I would love to part on you guys. Look at it this way. There's phases to free agency. Everybody knows that. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You have the first couple, 2 or 3 waves early in this part of the year in March and right before the draft. And then there's aftermarket shit that happens, cap casualties after the draft, because teams are going to get guys that are going to force them to let another guy go. So you have to be patient in that way too. And then you have
waiver wire.
What's that?
Number 1 waiver wire.
Exactly. And you have to be patient for the June 1st things that happen after that. Everybody, just because a guy is a post June 1st cut, don't mean that's gonna hit the waiver wire before June 1st. Sometimes you got to wait until afterwards and do your evaluations with your pro scouts and their personnel and how they see these things falling. So you don't want to run out there like the guy that saved up 3 years and $15,000-$20,000 to go to Vegas and blow your whole wad in a night. You're gonna be walking around that motherfucker for the next week doing shit. It's stupid.
guys, I hate to interrupt you, but we have the gentleman of the hour who has joined us, Mr. Vernon Roseman. And Vernon, thank you so much for joining the show tonight. Vernon and I are old friends, and he worked for the Bears. We had a show on Bears Country Podcast where we talked in great detail about that. And it's great to see you again, my friend. Thank you for joining us. And I know I was telling PJ here, because he is a gentleman just like you. And I just wanted to get you guys in the room together to talk, because you guys are very like-minded with your Bears thoughts. And I'm just so excited to have you on the show with everyone here on Open Mic Night. So thank you for joining us. How are you doing tonight,
You're
my
quite
friend?
welcome. I'm doing very well. I stepped away a bit because I'm assisting my wife here setting up a new phone.
Oh, yeah,
But
I have to do that tomorrow.
You have to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a long process. But I decided to step in and take a look here, and you're just having too much fun with this. So I was listening to you guys before I logged in, but awesome stuff.
Yeah, we've been friends for a long time.
Well,
Since the 90s.
let me say just hi to everyone.
80s.
Greetings. And I saw the comedian at the beginning. It was that Maurice with the disguise. All right, guys. I'm coming straight in from Washington, D.C.
Good to meet you, Vernon.
Right on.
Great to meet all of you all.
Pleasure to meet you.
Excellent to have you on the show. We were talking about how I just was so excited about the position that the Bears were in with the first pick in the draft and what they've done with it so far. There's some naysayers and there's some people that think this is excellent. I'm one of those people that think that it is, with the addition of DJ Moore. He's instantly our best player, our top paid player. So the excitement is just caused an impromptu show tonight, and Nomad agreed, yeah, let's do this. Nomad likes impromptu shows anyway, so we just decided to hop on tonight, and I'm so excited to have you on. I want to know what you think about what's going on right now with the Bears. Like, this is unheard of, right? You're almost pinching yourself.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think the best thing that all the fans can do at this point is just send all that positive energy out there. If we think back over the years, and even at the times, you go back, I'm not just go back to Super Bowl 20, and we all wondered, what on earth ever happened to that awesome team from then?
Mhm.
And we just seem to all fall apart. But from what I can recall in the history of the Bears, I have never seen anything or felt anything like this. Like I was telling you the other day when I called, when we were talking, um, I haven't really paid much attention to the draft in many years. And for some reason, the energy came across this time that said, just take a peek there. And pretty much every day, I listen or I read what's happening. When you look at the, the management organization that we've got today,
Mhm.
very, very, very different
Yes.
than we've ever had. It makes you pinch yourself and wonder,
Right.
is this the same team? I
The blind
remember being,
squirrel finally got the nut.
Preach.
absolutely. I remember being up in Hallis Hall, and you meet the McCaskies, you meet this one, you meet that one, and you wonder, okay, are we are they ever going to change? And it was always this very conservative family organization that didn't bring anybody else in, and they stuck with the traditional family type things, and then all of a sudden
Hmm.
it changed.
Hmm.
We got one of the best GMs out of the universe with all the positive energy. We land a VP from where? Top college ranks.
Yeah.
And then I think you added some more to it. And you look at the relationship I think that the head coach and the GM has at this time, and you can feel the energy and the change, and that's the way I feel about it. And I think we're in for something really, really good coming up here. And I
Hey,
think I
hey,
heard
Vernon,
someone say earlier on, yeah,
can I ask you a question? Because I don't mean to interrupt you, but listening to you talk, it makes me interested to know, because you've been a fan for so long. What was there a particular instance, like in the process of hiring this new regime? Is there something that happened that really made you feel like something different going on this year, that sparked something in your head and say, okay, this is different? What was it?
I think it's just the fact that it seems that the owner decided, you know what, the fans have been talking for a long time. We got to do something different. And Mrs. McCaskey, she's aging. The son, we don't know. You don't hear any much more of him of what they're going to do, and they've just decided to, you know what, let's give this a try and let the ropes go. And when Pauls came on board, it was like, wow, okay, this is our first black GM. That's outside of
Mm,
everything that this organization has ever done.
amen. Amen.
Fight the
Go for
power.
it, man.
So
Can I say that?
basically, when they went hands off and let football people take over the reins, and doing something outside of the norm, and getting a minority to a person of color to lead the charge. I felt the
Absolutely.
same way. I felt the same way.
Hmm.
I will interject there for a moment. I think it actually started when they drafted Fields, because the old way of thinking would have
Yes.
been
Good
taking Mac
point.
Jones. So they took actually Justin Fields, was surprised me. And I was
Good
like,
point.
whoa,
Good
okay,
point.
we're
Good
moving
point.
forward for real.
I woke up
Then
my
the
whole
next year
sleepy
came
neighborhood
Foles.
that night. I was in the
Yeah,
garage with
right,
the garage door open.
You
right.
know, you know what? Because most people felt a slight, and I still feel that way about that previous regime, that they overlooked Deshaun Watson in particular. A lot of
Right.
people could have speculated about what Patrick Mahomes would have been, but you just watched a guy take Alabama up and down the field and beat them in a national championship, and you overlooked him for a guy that just won 6 games
Right.
in his
Right.
career. I mean,
Right.
it made my family, people in my family, turn their backs on the Bears. And
Yeah.
recently, I've been able to get these people back on board, and it's been years. When was that? When did that happen? In what 20 what 20
This is
2016?
2021.
It's been the last few years that I've been able to get them back on board because people felt a certain way about, like, what is it? They don't appreciate. What, you don't think a black guy could lead the franchise or be the face of the franchise? And that's kind of how people felt about it. You know, that's probably one of the worst moves in the history of the Bears. Probably.
I was talking to Vern the other day, and just about how this is the only franchise in history that's had a black head coach, a black general manager, well, I guess a black assistant general manager, if you want to count that too, now a black president. So this is pretty cool that the Bears are, you know, they're not looking at color at all. They're looking at what the best. They're finally the blind squirrel has finally got the nut, guys.
You know what, Shorty? It feels like they realized they made a huge mistake by that move for Mitchell. I'm not taking anything away from Mitchell Trubisky, but his talent didn't belong in the conversation with the guys that were above him. And I think they realized that, and they're not tone deaf, and they decided to go in another direction. And I think it was an answer to the fan base, to be honest with you, but they made some really good choices. And as far as their management and coaches, they made some really good choices. And I've been on the record saying that I really believe we finally found the right kind of football guys to put us in place to really get to where we're trying to get to. And I still believe that right now, and I'm being patient about it.
I agree with you.
Absolutely true. Very, very, very good points. Absolutely true.
I mean,
I'm sorry. I was corrected by Tori and as well as Derek in the chat. It was 2017 that they went ahead and with the draft pick of Trubisky.
Right.
Hey, I got a question for Vernon.
Sure.
Being that you were an employee at Hallis Hall for so long, and we were talking about the shithole that is Soldier Field, I can say that because I was Andy Frame for many years. I done seen the bowels of that place, and it ain't nothing nice. But what are your thoughts on not only the front office and the management being people of color, but the move to Arlington Heights and that possibility for the whole new, Bears Megaland?
Well, you know what's interesting? Dan and I were talking about that, and I actually well, let me give you a quick history, and I'll do it.
Dan is me, by the way.
Everybody knows him as Shorty, man.
Yeah, you got to call me Shorty here. There's a Dan and a Danny. People might think you're talking about the other. I'm the other. They call me the other Dan. You didn't know that. I'm sorry.
I'll try, Shorty, without stumbling. It's tough for me to do that. In any case, I came about at the Bears, not so much of an employee. I worked for a printer company, and they had a contract to provide equipment during the home games, and it was a barter deal. And we got full set of season tickets, press passes, you name it. And no one wanted to do it. So I said, what the heck? And I just took it. And Mr. Shorty here, I said, come on, you're going to go with me to do this. So I think I spent the first year with the company. And then when I left the company, they decided they didn't want to do this anymore. So the director of public relations at that time called me and he said, hey, Vern, I need your help. They don't want this, so can you help me out here? And you've got season passes and a press pass forever. And I said, okay. So that's how I came about being there. So now I'll go back to your question. In conversations Shorty and myself were having over the last couple of months, I really had some mixed feelings about Soldier Field because the history, watched the rebuild go on, spending the time there, being in the locker room, down on the field. That's where I had the opportunity, which I'll never forget, meeting the great Walter Payton on the sideline. Um, and him and I just standing there chatting and talking. So I had quite a bit of attachment there. But when I started looking in more into the opportunity that I believe Arlington Heights is going to bring to us, it's awesome. It's awesome. I think it's going to open up a whole lot more for the residents of Illinois. I think it's going to open up a whole lot more for the Bears team itself. Now we'll be able to host some larger events there. I think the fans will be a whole lot more comfortable because it took a certain type of fan also to be at Soldier Field. And it also, I think, eliminated a certain amount of people because when that stadium's full, it's full. And you can't have any more. So we're going to have a whole lot more capacity. So that, along with what's happening now, with just being able to get that number one draft pick and what it is now allowed them to do in the year uh, pre the draft and what is going to come in the draft, to me fits into this whole energy scheme that I believe is happening.
Hey,
Right on.
he's what he's saying to me, being a historian of the Bears and being that deeply rooted into our history, tells me that, and I appreciated this about the McCaskies, especially recently. They just told me without telling me that they're not tone deaf, and they are not oblivious to what happened in the past and trying to rectify that by doing what they're deciding that, you know what, we're not football people, and we don't want to be involved in this. We're going to hire the right people that are football people to change the trajectory of this organization, and we're going to make plans for them to have the landing base that they need to really keep this thing going. We're the first team in the league, and in my estimation, the number one fan base in the world. And so, why not feed that by putting football people in front of it and making good football decisions? All of this stuff about, Poles isn't doing this, he's not doing that. I'm not listening to it at all. And I would suggest to anybody out here listening to my voice right now, fall back, save your fire, let this man work. He's got a plan that we don't know about. We're not privy to any negotiations with agents or any of that stuff. We don't know what's going on, and so let that man work his plan out, and let's let him put this roster together, and let's judge it from there.
I have a couple of questions for Vernon. First
Sure.
question is, what years were you working with the Bears?
Ooh, Dan helped me here. Let's go
Like
back.
94 to 96.
Somewhere in that time frame. Yeah,
Nice.
because
this is the I have this media pass, which is
oh, you do. You have it hanging there. Okay.
this is from
What year is that one?
So that's
95.
Okay, all right.
so that got us everywhere. We got to go onto the field. That's how I walked into the
Hook me up, Vernon. I need one of those, man. Hook me up.
I walked. Let's just say I walked into the locker room and I was not expecting to see. I just wasn't expecting to see what I saw. Naked men walking everywhere. So
In
I
a
walked
locker
in there.
room, you don't expect to see naked man in a locker room.
I was so elated. Like I'm going into the locker room. I'm gonna finally use this pass and go. I was on the field. I'm gonna go into the locker room.
So were you excited?
And actually, so I walked in. I was like, oh.
You got to see the bat swinging.
I'm gonna see people interviewing them at their locker room. They're just gonna be sitting there and getting interviews and stuff because I had a media pass. So I wasn't expecting that. So I like immediately turned around and there was Dave Wanstead like towering above me. What are you doing here, kid? I'm like, I have a media pass. Are you here with the press? I'm like, no. He's like, get out of here. I'm like, I was leaving. And I think that's the game that you were talking about, Maurice Lester. That was the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vern, because I think that was the game against the Lions that Eric Kramer had lost that game against the Lions. And he was coming back and he lost it like on the last play of the game. And he was sitting, because I remember getting kicked out of the locker room by Wanstead. And I walk out and Kramer is still sitting there with his head in his lap, just cradling. He still had his helmet on, still had his uniform on, and he was in the hallway. He couldn't get over the loss, and I just remember seeing that as I turned to get the hell out of there. So that's my big memory of using those press passes that we had.
It may have been because you know I might have been up in the booth still while you drifted around, but you know Danny Shorty here was like a kid in a candy store.
Yes,
Throughout a whole lot of this. I mean, the game that's stuck in my head that I always have memories was that Bears Packers game, Halloween night when we lost because it was the retirement of Gail Sayers and what's his name? How do I dare forget that? But because I met both of them that night and had the throwback jersey that he signed, my cap that Sayers signed, and was looking forward to the the big retirement session down on the field, and then it poured, and the monsoons, and we lose the game.
Yeah.
So that's mine. I'm not sure if I think I diverted a bit on the question, but that was the era that we spent, and then we had also the opportunity. And since we're talking Bears here, we had the opportunity to spend a week in training camp with the team one year, and that was awesome. Again, the kid in the candy shop, I'll let him throw in because he was all over the field. Shorty.
All I have to say is that everyone here is absolutely loving your voice. Have you narrated any books before or voiceovers? And then here we have another one from King Buka World. Vernon is my new favorite person for voiceovers. Morgan Freeman? never
Actually, no, I didn't. But going back before I moved to Chicago from Connecticut, I started broadcasting school, and then the opportunity came up to go to Chi-Town. So I said, "Heck, I'm going to head out there," and I didn't pursue it. But with my background coming out of corporate America, I had local training from doing presentations. Actually, did a commercial for one of the companies that I had worked for. So, well, actually, the first company I ever worked for after spending 21 years there, and that doing the commercial was Impromptu. I was just on site as a tech, and we had some. I think one of the actors didn't show up, and someone grabbed me and said, "Hey, Vern, since you know everything about this product, why don't you just do it?" And I said, "Okay." So I just did it, and then over the years, just being in business, that's where that came from.
Can you sing "Bear Down, Chicago Bears"?
No, we're not going ahead tonight.
We've done a couple of karaoke nights here on the Ballroom Network, and
oh, you do? Okay.
No, not really. It was just a joke.
This is just, this is just awesome, and for Shorty again, I'll say it in front of everybody on the thing. It's just awesome to see where you have gotten with this whole thing, and this. The everybody that's on here right now, those in chat, those who are live, and it's a feeling that it's really I think, and everybody's expressing the same, and just the tone I'm picking up off of everyone. It's just great to be a Bears fan.
It sure
Absolutely.
is.
Fair that.
It sure is.
Absolutely.
Man,
To Vernon's point, and I just popped in here at the very end of it. He's expressing to me multiple times here that this feels different for some reason. To me,
Yeah,
that's what he's
it
saying to
does.
me, and for whatever that's worth, I relate to that energy he's feeling. And I knew that at the very beginning when Shorty and I did the first Bears Country podcast show. I told him loud and clear, something's different here. And I think for the first time in a long, long time, there's something right going on here. And I think they found the right football people to really lead this charge. And based on the things I've seen so far, it's not quite what everybody expected because everybody has their own expectation. And we're not sitting there with a 5 to 7 year budget with people that crunch numbers and sitting there talking to
Right.
agents and trying to follow that guideline. We don't know anything about any of that. And so to me, it's just so premature to be jumping ahead and saying, hey, we need to get this. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Watch out, fall back, let this guy work his plan. And I guarantee you, by the time this is said and done, we're going to be pleased with what they put on the field.
mhm.
Absolutely, and you're right. We don't know as fans, but having been there with them for years and having that opportunity to be behind the scenes
Mhm.
and in Hallis Hall, and yes, we didn't see everything that went on, but we got exposed a whole lot more than the fans normally would. Just because we were part of that organization for those couple of years, and it's in the bus- in the traditional business world outside of sports. My years in management, I've always taken the approach of a coach. And Shorty and I were talking about this a couple of days ago, and I said to him, a big thing that hit me when having that opportunity at the Bears, and I looked and I said, this is just another business. The
Yeah.
product
Yep.
is football, and we have high level, top cream of the crop players. So it was a big old smile on my face as to, hey, my approach in their regular business fit right in because it's a coaching mentality.
I
I've
remember thinking
always
the
had.
same thing too. I mean, we spent,
And
uh, we haven't actually said this, but we spent, what was it, a weekend or was it it was a week at training
a
camp.
week.
It was a week
Yeah.
at training camp. We stayed in the dorms with the Bears, the same dorms. We ate breakfast in line with them at the same mess hall.
Right.
Our
Took the
meals
same
with them.
showers?
Huh?
Did you take the same showers too?
No, because it was like a dorm room that we had our own
No, right,
mini
right.
like
But you know where he was going with that, Dan.
yeah.
Hey, Vernon, I just
He
want
was
to
trying
know
to take you back to that locker room scene.
Vernon, from your point of
That's
view, with all you're so steeped in this thing, how we ended up with someone like Justin Fields, the timing of that and how that played out, the timing of the McCaskies being willing to fall back and allow football people to really operate and really do their jobs, the timing of us getting the first pick in the draft, and the timing of us deciding that we need our own place or our own stadium and our own venue. Does that any of those things line up and make you feel different about this whole situation, or is it just me?
No, it's not just you. I am a big believer in the energy in the universe. Okay. And if we sit back and think about it, there's certain things that happen and they happen for a reason. And I think when you look around the NFL and the I'm sure they have been looking and saying, yeah, This hasn't worked at this place. This hasn't worked over at this team. This hasn't worked over here. And it's time. If you go, I mean, they call themselves some different here in Washington now. It's not the Redskins anymore, but or the Commanders. I don't pay much attention. But when you look at it from a business aspect, those organizations who go and find the football minds and in my pockets, yeah, are deep. But I go and I find the football minds and I put them in place to have them run my business. I invest in that. They have been successful. Who's it down south? The Carolina Panthers. Their owner is from Abu Dhabi or someplace like that. Deep pockets. But he put in place a football person. The Bears have now done the same thing. And they went further with the stadium. And what I said about the stadium before, and I didn't even look at it that way. It was more tied up into to lose that history. But in reality, we won't lose the history of it. That will always be there.
Vernon, I hear West Indies in your accent.
So I
Tell me
think
if that's true or not.
energy at this time, and that comes from my other half. After 30 years, she's from Trinidad. So all the association that gets connected. She's sitting right here next to me. Oh, she's correcting me. She said I should say Trinidad and Tobago.
Ah, she's right. She's right.
Like
I just got corrected, so so close association. And I just said, don't leave me down south for too long. It changes.
How y'all doing?
I refuse to let it change me. I do not say y'all. I will never say y'all. And some people say it twice in one sentence. I refuse to use it. I will say use guys before I will say y'all. And
when I came here
I'll let my
to
Chicago
DC,
accent. I'll talk more like this before I'll fucking let anybody get a hold of me with their accent. You know what I'm saying?
I love people from the West Indies, man. That I had the best time of my life in the West Indies. Some of the best people you'll ever meet in your life, man. You just have to be willing to receive them, man. Over in Jamaica, I was in Jamaica. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was in the grill, as a matter of fact, but I went to the Blue Mountains where they make that coffee. Man, listen, some of the best people you can ever meet in your life are there. And
No worries, man.
yes, man. Yes.
Oh, there's one.
What you're talking about the previous chat that I just had up?
Huh?
Oh, never
No,
mind.
I didn't see it. I heard someone made a comment. I'm not sure if that was Jamaica or.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jamaica, man. How many jobs you have?
All right. Hey, Shorty, let's talk about some football, some right now stuff. Unless you got something planned, Shorty, what you got, man?
One thing.
Man, you know,
One thing.
You got a finger.
I don't have anything planned. I just wanted to talk Bears, just get everyone together and let's just talk Bears. You know, I'm using a Mac now, so it's been hard for me to. There's things I'm still trying to learn. So I wanted to play Tremaine Edmonds' video, one of his press conferences, or I think he was talking to the guy that he was talking to somebody on the Bears. But he sounds to me, just the way he talks, he kind of sounds like Snoop Dogg. And I wanted to pull up a video of that just to show it, but I couldn't. I was having a problem making the recording, so it was just a last minute thing. But I love what they're doing here with. And some people disagree with building with the linebacking core first, but I like what they've done with the linebacking core. And Vern, as you know, they were these two linebackers, one of the linebackers, T.J. Edwards and Robert. T.J. Edwards came from Lake Villa, just north of us, you know, and then Robert Tanyan came from McHenry, who they just signed from Green Bay. So I just think that's really cool because in high school, I never thought it was possible to make it to the NFL from way up there, you know?
Right.
There's a certain value, and I will say this from my standpoint, in opening up the door through agents, through the agents, and saying, hey, you guys that are out there in free agency, and you want an opportunity to come home and play for your. It's a lot of Chicago guys in the league, a lot of guys from this area in the league, and they're out there in free agency. We happen to have a general manager that seems to be intentional about trying to attract some of those guys, and it has value. You get guys that are playing for their hometown, in front of their home crowd, in front of their families. You get extra intensity out of those guys. Am I correct? There's something to that. And I the first time I saw that, I was like, okay, maybe that's something that just happened. But lately, I'm starting to feel like that's intentional. That's a plan. That's a plan to bring home some guys, if you can, that are really talented to perform in front of their fans and their family, and you'll get extra out of that player. You know,
well,
I see that.
I think also by the benefit of bringing in players from this community or their community is the fact that I think Edwards signed with $6 million, which is far below market value. So you got him for a hometown discount. Probably the same thing with Kenyon. I'm not sure what his contract was, but by bringing in players who actually from the Chicago area, I'm sure some of them are willing to take a lesser amount. So that's a plus.
Exactly.
But I think, you know, as far as the linebackers, as good as they are, I think Pohl's approach has been let it come to him. He's not forcing anything. But in order for these linebackers to really work, we are going to need some horses up front, starting with that D line.
Yep.
You know what? You mofos have been way too quiet. What's going on over there? Take yourself off mute. Let us know.
I got a microwave. I got a microwave going on, so that's what that was. But if you guys can hear me clearly, I think I'm okay. Man, Vernon, you got a new fan, dude. I am your fan. I've been sitting here memorized, listening to somebody said it. I could probably sit here and just listen to you talk or read something. Somebody said something about reading a back of a matchbook or something. I could listen to your voice, man.
The back of a baking soda.
Yeah, that's what it was. Absolutely, no problem. And then
Thank you, sir.
The other thing I wanted to say, and this is very important because back in the 80s and the 90s when I'm out there working, they initiated this thing called quotas where you had to have so many of each race work and it nothing against anybody, but it's always been, and I like this, that I think they're really doing it. I don't care if you're blue with purple dots, it's the best person for the job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They got some football people in here. The last time they tried to do this was in the 70s, maybe the 2000 team. But when was the last time we had a general manager, an assistant general manager, especially ones that were out in public that you were aware of?
Well,
I just like everything they're doing. Somebody else said on there too. Poles is trying to get the best guy. Well, we're trying to get the best personnel for our system without blowing the budget to where we're going to be like these other teams. We're going to have salary cap problems. Isn't that how the whole Ed Oliver thing started? Is because they're going to have money problems in Buffalo. So let's get rid of the worst guy we got and see if we can pass the buck on that.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say he's the worst guy we got. I was in on a trade with Robert Schmitz. I was agreeing with them. And then I went back and looked at it. And then I went and talked to some real Buffalo fans that are at every game. And they gave me the real skinny. He's the weak link in our defense. So I changed my mind on that trade proposal that he put up on Twitter, that rotten country nomad. You are so right about a lot of things, man. I love listening to your take too. All you guys got good stuff to say.
Thank you.
This
I'm
guy's
glad
over
I'm
here.
sitting here listening. I'm more of a fan listening to you guys tonight than being involved. You've got me hanging on the edge of my seat here listening to this stuff. And I'm excited again, which like I said, I was kind of low, but I'm getting excited as we're talking here again.
Yeah, I
So-
know. It's a great time to be a Bears fan, guys. Triple R, come on, stop looking up and tell us what you think right now. Give us your ramble on. It's your take.
Well, there have just been so many good, topics brought up from, Vernon's voice, to what everybody's saying about the direction of the front office. What are we taking on right now, Shorty?
We're taking on. What do you mean by that question?
Well, what are we talking about right now? Because I can go on about the history and how I think the future is bright, but let's focus that down a little bit.
What are we taking on here is this is the fact that we have never. This is historic for us to be in this position, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I kind of brought up and alluded to earlier. It's, I, was lucky enough to, little flex right here, but have 3 interactions with Sweetness. Yeah, that was me.
Oh,
Real quick. One, I was doing the Andy Frank thing. It was me and this other guy and girl. We were waiting for the gates to open on the east side. And he came walking through, nice brown leather jacket, little duffel bag. And we were loud and talking, and it was echoing in there. And when I saw him, I just stopped talking. And everybody looked, and he just kind of looked up and was like, "How you doing?" And we all just waved, didn't say shit. And he kept on. Now, the second time was I was stationed right outside the locker room. No luck for me, I guess, if you want to see some big black dongs or whatever. But being
that was me walking into the locker room. Thank you. Yeah.
So I couldn't see the game, but I could hear it. And it was a close battle. And, we lost at the end. And the only thing I remember was the look on Sweetness's face. When Vernon said, like the look of just sheer emotion and dejection after a loss. Walter came walking through. He was the only one there. Sporadic teammates were coming in, but he had this look on his face. He was so sad and so disheartened. And then I looked at him and he looked at me and we made contact. And the look on his face was like he was apologizing. He was saying, "Dude, I gave it all I had. It was just sorry." And, no words were exchanged, but we shared that moment. And I felt that shit. And then he went on. Now, the final time I can remember, it was the August in 1996, because that was my son was born in December, so I had a bun in the oven. And I was driving a cab for in Evanston at the time. But I got a call to go down to downtown over there by Planet Hollywood and Johnny Rockets and all of that, where Sweetness had a bar. And I was driving by to pick up my ride, and I looked in and I saw him. He was like, "Oh shit, that's Walter P." So, backed out, hazards on, and I went inside. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Just introduced myself, and I love you and all that fun stuff. And he was like, "Oh, he was very humble, very appreciative." And he was like, "Would you like to have a drink?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" But I was like, "Oh shit, I'm working. I'm on the clock right now." And I was like, "Oh, I would love to. I'm working right now." And I pointed outside. He looked and he saw my cab with the hazards on. He was like, "Okay, rain checked in." I was like, "No doubt." But the bar closed soon after that, and then he was dead. So yeah. But yeah, as far as just feeling my Bears moment.
Your second
right
story
now,
is better.
Brothers, what I'm saying? I feel a hug coming on. But yeah. But as far as where we're at now, and being someplace on the precipice of greatness, because we are utilizing the analytics of today, for the sports, but then still have the human factor into it. I've never heard of a GM sit and cry with a guy in a car because he failed a physical and now is not going to be a millionaire. Most of that is like send that dude a text. I got other stuff to do. But Poles keeps putting his heart into the thing, but he's not doing it to a point where it's a detriment to the team, because it's like, look, this is what I think you're worth. This is what I'm going to pay you. If you want all up here, nah, you can go. And so he's not married to guys like that, which I can appreciate, but he respects the guys and he pays their fair value. And that's a beautiful thing going forward, just from the football perspective as a GM. We already know he can handle negotiations with agentless people. What up, St. Ami? And Roquan, he had to go. We know he can handle negotiations with other GMs with the trades and the various things that he does. And we know he can scout because that's what his forte is and was. So, yeah, I'm all good. Ah!
Can I get
I agree.
let me get a little piece of what Triple R is saying, a little bit. What I appreciate about it is how they're operating. And let's just take it here. There was a list of guys coming into free agency that were must-haves, according to everybody on Twitter, or it was going to be the end of the world. It was going to be the end of the world if we didn't get a certain handful of these guys. Hargrave was one. McGlinchey was another. Jawan Taylor was another. There was, I mean, Draymond Jones. If we didn't get that guy, all hell was going to break loose. It was going to be the end of the freaking world. And I beg to differ, you guys. The truth about it is they graded their position groups and who was in the free agency market, and at the top of their free agency market, who was the absolutely alpha dominant apex predators at their positions. And it wasn't at 3 tech, and it wasn't at right tackle, and it wasn't at left tackle. It ended up being freaking linebacker. And we got an apex predator at linebacker. We got a sub apex predator at linebacker right behind it. And so to me, I saw it the same way. You may not remember, I said a whole lot of things. People said there's no way they pay an off-ball linebacker or they draft an off-ball linebacker. They don't value those guys as much. And I beg to differ the whole time. I understand the defense. I understand how it operates. And I said it the whole time. That position is important. Also, the position of nickel is important. You know, those positions aren't to be sneezed at. And they got the best thing that they could do on their boards. And so all of this, listening to people that are talking on Twitter, I'm so glad that they're tone deaf about that. This front office is tone deaf. I'm so glad they don't pay attention to that. We be nowhere listening to people on Twitter. Nowhere. These people don't know what they're talking about. They're sweating. And just because the names that they are familiar with aren't being picked and signed for this team, they think it's the end of the world. Calm down. There will be more to come.
You're muted, Shorty.
You muted, Shorty.
Shorty.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just so excited about T.J. Edwards because I could literally drive 3 minutes and be in the town that he grew up in. And I've been in that town thousands of times. And just to think from a little town in the chain of lakes in northern Illinois, 15 minutes from Wisconsin, that T.J. Edwards went from an undrafted free agent to this contract with the Bears. That adds extra stoke to my fire for his love for him as a fan. And same thing with even Tanyan, even though he was forced to play he wasn't actually forced because he signed that as a UDFA for the Lions, but essentially being in the NFL, he was forced to play for the Packers because they were the team that signed him. Feel bad for the guy. I don't even know what I would do if I got drafted by the Packers if I was in the NFL. If I was the first pick in the draft, if I was like Peyton Manning and the Packers had the first pick and the Bears had the second, I would just be like, I'm not playing for the Packers. I would do the same thing that Eli Manning did. If I had the gumption, and the backing in my scouting to do that, because God, I couldn't imagine playing for the Packers. I'm rambling as a Bears fan, like Tanya.
Well, I don't think just the shorty right there. As an athlete, you don't
You have to do
give a
you
fuck
have to
who
pay all the
drafts
money,
you. You just want to go pro.
right? Of course. But for me,
But the opportunity,
a
I
little
think,
bit of
like
my
TJ,
soul
and
would leave.
unfortunately, it didn't work out for what was his name? Michael Schofield. He was a local guy, but he had to go. I don't know. You think Poles is trying to bring in local talent, or it's just the talent he's bringing in happened to be from the local area?
I don't know. That's a great question. It could be maybe a little. I don't know. Is he? What's the chicken before the egg? Kind of a question. I don't know.
I'd be willing. I'd be willing to put. I'd be willing to put some money on. It's a part of the plan. It to me, it adds value when you're in a media market that is this tight and this. I mean, even though we have our disagreements and we beef like a MF, we beef, but there's one thing consistent about people from this area and from this part of the country. We're Bears fans first, and we love our hometown guys. If we can get them in if we can get them in our building and put them in our uniform, we're gonna love them. People are gonna buy those jerseys. They're gonna buy that merchandise, all that stuff that comes with all that. I do think there's a bit of intention that comes to what Triple R is saying. I really do think it's somewhat intentional here.
I kind of question that it is too.
Agreed. Because it's probably the big market inside of him. All right, and the fans have been hurt, disappointed for decades, for a long time. So this is another way of also saying, okay, I'm going to take care of the fan base at the same time, and it's finding the talent. It's finding the talent at home. So it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Because I tell you what, if I played for the Bears, I'd be giving it more than any other team, for sure.
Foster's got a mouthful.
It's always one of the greatest news stories or news things is local boy makes good. So I think it's a combination like Nomad was talking about. I think he's looking at it, and if they fit and they're his mold where they're the best guy for the position for the cost, he's going to sign them, whether they're from a hole in the ground in Mexico or Chicago. Joe Treviso. I'm a guy, I don't believe in coincidences. Coincidences are incidences in which God is involved. There's no such thing as a coincidence in my eyes. And then you got that 0.001% where sometimes things are just going to happen and then nobody's going to do anything about it. I think polls, and I'm kind of looking at it from myself, from my own point of view, of course. He's looking at everything. He's taken into account that these guys this guy's local, and you know what? He's not that bad. And if we can get him at this cost, he's going to make this position better. Let's do it. Like I said, if he's from a hole in the ground somewhere in the middle of the desert, or he's living downtown in Chicago or up in Lake Villa, there's a lot of good people up there, man. I used to do a lot of work up in that area. And I love fishing in Pastaki, man. Anybody ever fish in Pastaki Lake?
Yeah,
That's in McHenry.
I grew up there. All my fishing is done up there. Lake Marie, Deep Lake, Pastaki Lake. I mean, I don't fish in Round Lake, too small. But I mean, I don't fish in Fox Lake. But you know the lakes, my friend.
Foster, would you say?
I got to throw this in because it's this is kind of important. It's a little off subject, but. I had a problem with my crotch the other day, and I was kind of ripping it up a little bit. And I went.
Should you be?
I went to the doctor, and you know what he told me? He told me I was having scroty fits.
You fucker.
No, seriously, Foster. Would you say after all you just said, knowing that that he's always talking about value. How many times have you heard him say that? Many times. is it an added value to bring a local guy onto your team that can really freaking play?
How could it not be? You're now you've just taken all these people from McHenry and Lakeville, and I don't care if they're like Dan, you mentioned before. Your parents weren't Bears fan. It's just that what was going on. Now he's just brought in more fan base, whether they know football or not. But if they know one of these kids growing up,
Yep.
you just added how many more fans to your fan base?
Boom.
You're getting more exposure.
Boom.
I mean, right or no?
Boom.
100%.
Yeah, and beside that, it has a long-term effect on the young junior athletes coming up.
Yes,
It's
sir.
like sitting back and saying, "Hey, man, he's from the town next door to me, or he's from the town my family came from, or somebody. Man, you know what? I can do this too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Think about it."
Absolutely.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you something. You might be my senior, Vernon, but I'm one of those people that absolutely I bow at the knee to my elders. And I don't just do that for any elder. All elders don't mean smarter or wiser than you. That means that I can hear and sense savvy. I can sense that seasoning that someone knows more than me. And early when that person walks through the door, I can sense it. Now I sense that with Vernon. He knows, and he has been around. I sense that with Foster. I sense that with PJ. I sense that with a lot of people. This is a seasoning that people have been around. They've seen things.
Not you,
And-
Triple R.
No, no. I said hot sauce. No,
Hey, Shorty,
seriously.
leave him alone. He's just cool.
Seriously, I appreciate you guys, man. And when you guys talk, I'm a sponge because I'm always trying to learn. You know, that's just the way I am. I'm always trying to learn, and that's the way I operate in my personal life. But listening to these guys it really validates what I felt in the first place, is that these guys have they have a modus operandi. They knew what they're doing. And I don't know how to impress that upon everybody in this fan base, but I think these guys know what they're doing. Seriously.
I
Guys,
think if you
Joe Treviso asked and Chatter asks a good question. So you think he'd pass on a better player for a local kid?
no.
No. That's not smart.
I
You're
think if
muted,
it's one of
Foster.
if it's one of the
Yeah, it was. I didn't want to interrupt anything. You said you think he'd take somebody from local over somebody who's a little better player?
Yeah.
Is that what you said, Dan?
Yeah. That's the question here on the screen.
I don't think
Joe
so.
Treviso
I mean,
asked that. Yeah.
we just talked about how the guy's always talking about options and value. So I would say no. I mean, he, like I said a couple minutes ago, man, you try and get the best position, the best person for every position that you have. I don't care if it's the guy bringing water from the pump in the basement. You get the best guy that you can for every position if you can afford to do it. You're always going to be short somewhere. It's, you're limited. So you're going to be short somewhere, but you still want to make that effort to get the best person available for whatever you're doing. So, I mean, that's where I'm at in that. You guys make some great points. Nomad, man, you are prepared, dude. I was totally unprepared for this today. I mean, I was, but I wasn't. But I mean, you are prepared, dude. You come up with things, or you're laying everything out there that, crap, if I did more research, maybe I could say that stuff too.
Yeah, listen,
I want to throw one other thing in here.
Every one of you jumped on
I'll
the show
stop for
tonight
1 minute.
impromptu. So
I was just going to say, we were talking about this yesterday on the baseball show, and we were talking about baseball. It was me, Aldo, and Vinny, and I just said, hey, the one thing I'm very disappointed in with a lot of these sports is they've cut the common man away from a lot of these sports. You can't turn on a TV and watch the Cubs game. You're going to have to pay for some of this stuff. That's really my big beef with a lot of the sports.
right.
I'm just going off on my little tangent because I work with people that don't have the financial means to do things, and they're happy if they can get a game tuned in on the radio. But going back to Poles, man, I love it because I see him honestly, no BS, no, I'm going to act this way in front of the cameras and show you guys I'm this, and then the minute the door closes, I'm Ryan Poles or whoever, where it's, yeah, I'm just going to take care of my stuff, and I don't even know if I'm right, but I go by what I kind of see and what I feel. He's not doing that. He's out there in the public trying to do this thing honestly and openly. Nothing's hidden.
Right.
He's not feeding lines. He's not ducking around corners.
Exactly.
He told us what he's going to do. We don't agree with everything. Some people don't agree with everything he's doing, and that's going to happen. You cannot please everybody.
PJ,
but at least he's honestly making an effort every day to look at everything as deep and as hard as possible to do something that has never been done here, and that is it hasn't been done since it probably ended in the 50s, where we continuously field a team that is not only good and challenges the opponent every week, but we're going to be in contention yearly.
Yeah.
Never happened in my life.
1000% agree. Ever, right? You've been talking about your family having tickets or being Bears fans since the 20s. PJ, you look like you're about ready to explode.
No, not at all. I'm thinking back on like Lovie Smith time. When Lovie Smith, we always had the defense, but we never had the offense. Then after he left, we got this Mark Trestman guy who had somewhat of a pretty good offense the first year, but then the second year totally collapsed. Then we had Nagy or Fox, who was half asleep the whole time he was here. Then you have Nagy, who to me was never a football guy. He was, as someone once said, a shoe salesman. He didn't know what he was doing. So now we actually have a coach, in my opinion, who actually, although he's a defensive guy, has an offensive mind there who's not great, but he's fitting an offense for the talent he has, something that Nagy never did, because Nagy was so anxious to get Jordan Howard out of here that he didn't even utilize him when he had him. I mean, Jordan Howard had, I think, 2 or 3 1,000-yard years or seasons before he came. And then when Nagy came, Nagy was like, no, I can't use him. And I'm like, you ought to be able to use a productive back like that. So the point I'm getting to is when the Bears was, I think they had Ernie Accorsi trying to help them locate their next coach or GM in getting Ryan Pace. It didn't work out. But then when the guy from Indy, what's his name? The GM from Indy that used to be at Indy, and he helped us out in hiring Poles.
Accorsi? Ernie Accorsi.
Begins with a B.
The redhead guy. He was a redhead guy. I forget his name. But once we consulted him,
not Jim Irsay.
No, not Irsay. No, Ballard's the GM now. He was a GM before when they hired Tony Dungy.
Oh, the guy before Ernie Accorsi. It was
he was the guy after Ernie Accorsi.
Poland, yes.
Bill Poland, yes.
Bill Poland.
Yeah, Bill Poland. Once we started listening to him, seemed like the franchise started turning around. I mean, whether it's us getting Fields, and then we getting Eberflus and Poles in, then we getting the president of the Bears now. Seemed like this whole thing is changing in the way Poles is going about doing things, as far as he's a calculated man. He's very calculated. He weighs his options, and he just doesn't rush. And I like that about him, because it seemed like Pace was just signing the highest free agent possible and just go ahead and let's get him, whether he fits or not. Let's just get him and pay the most money at him, and it'll work out. Whereas Poles seemed like he has a calculated plan, which I appreciate because that to me means sustained success, as opposed to where Nagy's first year was great, but it was filled with trick plays. You can't build a good team or offense on trick plays.
Hey,
Whereas,
you be you, all right?
where yeah, you be you and you be out the league, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, but now we got a guy who actually is a football guy. Seems like he's the type of football coach like I would play for. That it's like, okay, do your job, do your job well, and if you loaf in practice, you won't see the playing field. And Nagy was more of a guy that, oh, I thought of this great plan or this great play. Let's not practice it. Let's just walk through it. Let's just, I came up with this plan, like I drew it up on the sideline in the dirt, and let's try it without even practicing it. And then when it fails, he wonders why. I just see the drastic difference between the past regime and now, to where I see there's hope. I mean, there's really hope for this team in the way that it's coached as well as the way it's being built. That's what I wanted to add.
Word up.
Yeah, a big thing too that you're seeing is the working relationship between Poles and the head coach. Very, very different.
Important.
And when you've got two guys like that working together, it brings on a whole lot more. And it's also it's public. I don't know. I see it and you feel it. And everything that PJ that you just talked about, that's how I sum it up. That there's a better working relationship there, and you can see it.
Right.
You can actually see it's going on. They're not going. One is not headstrong over his position versus the other. It's no. We've got to work together and bring and pull this whole thing together.
Right.
You can have 8 cylinders in the car, and 2 of them decide they're going to do whatever they want to do because of what you got, an engine that fails.
I love how you said eight cylinders.
and that's not what we have.
Right.
Mr. Shorty, do me a favor. Can we cap this thing off the right way? Let's do a PFN mock draft. And only because I've seen a lot of mock drafts out there, and I've wanted my point of view being said because I'm not live on Twitter, and I can't say what I want to say on Twitter because I'm taking a personal stance on Twitter. But I want the world to see how I would draft if anybody wants to know about that. I can show you what it looks like really quickly. If you stay at 9, I can show you really quickly what it looks like if you start taking trade backs. I don't have any reservations. It won't take long. You guys can get in my behind after I'm done, but let me do this. Anybody that wants to post this, post it. Mr. Short, you too, post it when we're done.
You guys want to do this?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We can make it super quick. You want
to come to think of it, what Vernon was saying, while Shorty's loading that up, I haven't seen a picture with Poles and Flus separate. They're always like in each other's hip and each other's hair, sharing information. And that synergy is something that we've never seen because new GMs were always paired with old head coaches, and new head coaches were always paired with old GMs. Nobody ever got to pick their own guy. And now that, Poles picked Flus, hey, let's go.
You know what, Triple R? I also think that's intentional. To what Vernon was saying, I also think that was very intentional. That is all intentional. He is shopping for what the coach is asking him for. The coach is asking him, I need these types of players for these positions, and give me a chance to really have my hand in what I have to go out there and coach. And so to what Vernon was saying, go ahead.
And they provide, I'm sure they're giving input to each other. Hey, No, this is what I see. No, this is not what I see. And then they finally come together and make a collective decision. It goes a long way.
Okay. Let me see the next 3 offers.
All right. So first, we're just doing a quick mock draft here. We're not going to make this a 3-hour show like before, but
No.
that's not happening. Come on.
I'll be really quick. Just let me see the picks. They're offering what?
17 to 30.
Trade offer is we have 4 offers. The Steelers pick 17, 32, 2024, 4th.
Okay, let's see the next one. Okay.
How does New England pick? Oh no, I'm thinking Tampa Bay. Yeah, New England pick 14, pick 117, 2024 first. Ooh.
Next.
Minnesota pick 23, 2024 first, 2024 second. Ooh.
Really quick. Why I would decline that one really fast is I need players right now. I don't need picks later.
I don't know about that though, guys. That's where you build your team is with more picks in the next draft.
You get more draft picks
We
later.
get a little greedy now. We don't have anything left for the future.
No.
I take that 17 and 32 because that's 2 first-round picks in my eyes.
We didn't see one more offer.
That means we got our pick back then. Basically.
That's probably the pick we're going to take, but let's see the rest of the offers. Okay.
New England pick 14, 117, and 2024 first.
Don't like it.
We're not going to trade with a divisional team, so those are off the table.
Take the
Packers.
Take the Pittsburgh pick.
Okay.
Okay.
So now you're looking at who's left on the board.
Wait, you don't want to steal a Green Bay Packers first-round pick? I thought I saw that there. Maybe I was wrong.
I know who I want right here. So we're not getting any more trade offers. And so I'm gonna go OT. Go to offensive tackle. I'm gonna go
DeJuan Jones.
So basically Paris Johnson is gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was gone before number 9.
He
Okay.
went 7 to Atlanta.
So what I would do here is I would take Anton Harrison here because I believe I would take Anton Harrison.
That's not a reach.
Nah.
Yeah, I would straight choke him on that.
He's a 31st ranked prospect. We can get him with that pick we just traded for. Now
It's either Anton Harrison. It's either Anton Harrison or Darnell Wright. Which one would you guys get? Say it in the chat.
I wouldn't go offensive tackle here at
Well, let me be the one to do this. Y'all can get on me afterwards.
Darnell Wright.
Y'all can kick my ass.
All right,
this.
so you're running this. So we have to pick a tackle here, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Nomad?
Huh? What's that?
What is your ultimate goal? What are you trying to do?
I think we can. You know what? Let's take Darnell Wright. I think
the reason why I'm asking is because Darnell Wright is going to be there to pick 32.
Right.
If you're trying to get the offensive, if you're trying to get a right tackle, Darnell Wright will be there at pick 32. So you can use that 17 pick to pick somebody else. Is what I'm getting at.
You can make the case that I could be overdrafting. That's true, but you can also shoot yourself in the foot by overthinking that. Go with Darnell Wright for right tackle.
Okay. This is Nomad's draft. So now we're down to 32, and we have a trade offer from New England. Go down to 99.
Take that one.
Hell no, right? Reject.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go defense. And I truly believe that this is where we need to beef up. Let's go to defensive tackle. Okay, go to edge. Go to edge real quick. Right here is when I would take Thule. Right there.
Probably agree with you on that. Okay, so this is your draft. Go ahead.
Okay. We're going to keep it moving. Y'all can get on me afterwards.
No pick from – no, we're not trading with Green Bay.
No, 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 no. You didn't reject that, did you?
Yes, I did. We're not trading with Green
What'd
Bay.
you do that for?
We don't trade with Green Bay.
Okay, take this pick. Take this one. Take this one. Because we're gonna accumulate some picks.
Okay.
Accept that one. Go back to defensive tackle.
Okay.
Okay. I like what we're seeing there. Go back to offensive tackle.
Go back to edge.
I'm okay with what I'm seeing there. Let's go to edge. Let's go to defense. Go to edge. Right here, I'm gonna make sure. You know what? Go to DT. Go to D tackle. I'm gonna make sure I get my guy Keanu Benton right here.
Wait, you Siaka Ika, wait. Siaka Ika's there he's at 48th ranked prospect. You want
I can use either one of these. I can use either one of these guys all up and down the line.
Look at where you're at though. You got 64 and 67, Nomad.
Okay. Just let me. Y'all can kick my ass later. We're gonna get this thing done, and y'all can kick my ass later.
So you want what?
I'm going. Go back to DT.
Keanu Benton.
I'm making sure I get him.
Okay. You want to trade 64 to 74?
98. That's yeah, that's good. Take that. Wait. Let's see the other offer. Okay.
No, you want this one?
That's a better one.
You want to accept that?
Yep. Take it.
All right. Now you have another one. You have go from 67 to 71.
That ain't worth it.
67 to 90 for a 2024 third.
That ain't worth it either. Reject both of them.
Oh man, this damn toolbar keeps doing this to me. I got to keep going over here and going like this.
I'm trying to get some premium guys at some premium spots to beef up our offense and our defense.
Okay, so now you want to do what at 67?
Okay. Let's look at edge again. I got to make sure I get Will McDonald. Get him. Is he absolute fit? No, he is not. Right here, I would definitely take that. Hold on. Let's see the next offer.
Oh,
yeah, take the first one. Take the first one. Let's accumulate some dudes.
God, this stupid thing. How does this keep doing this to me? Does anybody know how to use a Mac? Why does this toolbar keep taking over on the bottom here? PJ, you just got a Mac. Do you know how to use that? Why does this damn toolbar keep taking over?
Probably.
I agree.
Yeah. Do you have your settings set to large?
Okay.
Your fonts.
I don't know. I'll have to
Reject that. Reject that.
Reject. You don't want to move down too?
Reject that one. Now that's more worth it right there. But it's not something I want to do right here. And you know why? It's because I need to get my nickel. So reject that.
Okay, so now you're going.
Yeah, I think we look like
guy right there.
Are we at the top?
Yeah, and we're sitting there with the 88th pick, and he's ranked 87th.
Okay, slide down. Let me see if my guy's there. Okay, there we go. 154.
Jacorian Bennett.
Yes, sir. It's an overdraft, according to what a lot of people would say, but I got to make sure I get this dude. And we can talk about it later. Let's get that guy.
Okay.
I'm choking.
Now you're at 98.
Now I would go running back.
Who's bored by now?
No, I'm ready to choke Nomad. That's all.
Y'all can choke me afterwards, man. Y'all can kill me afterwards.
Ooh.
Give me Kendre Miller right here.
No, here you go. No.
Okay, definitely take that.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to see what my value is at receiver. Okay, I don't like that. Let's go to offensive guard. I'm cool there. Let's go to offensive center. Ricky Stromberg, easy.
You're just talking about him. Okay.
Let's go back to offensive line.
Wait,
Let's
you want to accept this or
take,
no?
let's take that. Yes, absolutely. We can get good value later on back there, and take that one too.
This guy.
Hey, we doing fantasy, man. I mean,
Much
this
longer
is
you guys
what
have
it
to
is.
be awake?
Reject all that.
Oh, look at what just happened. It just did it again. Why can't I get that to do it to the other side? See, what happens is I can't. There we go.
Okay, reject that.
Well, if the screwty fits,
If
Okay.
this- by the way, Vernon, just for your lack of knowledge of this, somebody accidentally called me Scrody, and I made fun of myself for it. So I have multiple nicknames on this channel. It's Dan, it's Mr. Shorty, it's the other Dan, it's Todd, it's Scrody. So
let's
I'm
go to edge. Let's go to defense. Let's go to edge. We gotta make sure we're good there. Oh my God, we got some nice players there, don't we? Yeah. Let's take Isaiah McGuire first. We'll come back here. Let's grab him.
Can we see
You know what?
who all do we have so far? Can we look? I'm just curious. Click on the C over here. Click on the C.
Where?
The over there to the left on the Bears. Left.
On the logo.
Yeah, on the logo. If you scroll down to the Bears and click, yeah, it'll show you who all we got drafted.
So we got Darnell Wright,
Right tackle.
Thule, Keanu Benton, Will McDonald. Well, that would be a hell of a defensive line. Jacorian Bennett. That'd be nice. This is a nice draft. Look at all these picks too.
Yeah, man. Y'all can kill me later. Let me finish. Y'all can kill me for it later. Let's go to we got some of the best linebackers in the league, but you know what? Let's go to offense. Let's get that guard situation cleared up a little bit. Nick Broken, that's my guy right there. Get him.
At 177 over
Right
136.
Take him.
We still have 148 over here.
Take my guy. Kill me for it later.
Okay.
Get the shotgun.
You want to move down 2 slots?
Take that one right there. That's a good one right there.
Kidding me? How many picks the Jets have?
Get it rejected.
I'm not giving you that many picks with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, go to all. Let's see all the best players available. Okay. I really love. We need to. We probably need to get a receiver, don't we?
Probably need a safety too.
Definitely need a safety.
Hey, Nomad.
What's
Safety
that?
guys want to rate it.
Hey, looking at receivers, I'm looking at this article, and it's about late round receivers. And it's got Ishelvoss from Princeton, Ford Wheaton from West Virginia, Landers from Arkansas, Tucker from Cincinnati, Xavier Smith from Florida A&M, C.J. Johnson from East Carolina, and Charlie Jones from Purdue. Like any of those?
I like a lot of them. Go to receiver, please. I like Parker Washington a lot. I love Tyler Scott. I love me some. If you go down there, Dante Demas Jr., I think he's got tremendous upside. But I don't need to draft him right now. I think Parker Washington is a multifaceted guy that I think a lot of people don't really know about him because they don't watch a whole lot of Penn State. But take Parker Washington here.
Wait a minute. Wait. Can I act like Ian Cunningham for you real quick? The highest rated player left is a safety in Hickman.
Who's that?
Just to give you.
Talking about Ohio State Hickman?
Yeah, he's the highest
We
rated
could use a
player.
safety, but before I got Hickman, I'd get Jamie Robinson.
Okay. I'm just sorry, looking at the value chart, but okay.
You know what? Just for the sake
You
of
can have your draft next, PJ.
right. Just for the sake of PJ.
This is Nomad's draft.
Let's address some safety. Let's get Jamie Robinson. Let's get Jamie Robinson.
Okay.
Let's grab him. Now let's go get a value receiver.
You could use a cornerback.
Tajay
definitely could
Spears
use a
is
cornerback.
sitting
Let's-
here.
Let's go. Let's
got
go.
Pick 148 and pick 150.
Let's go defense.
You get a running back yet?
Let's go back to D tackle.
We did.
Let's
TCU.
get D tackle. DT.
Point of reference.
Definitely
before
taking
you go.
Zach Pickens right here. Definitely. Can't pass
Because you
this
know you
up.
already got a couple of defensive tackles.
And you can't never have too many
Hey,
of them.
stack up on him.
That's right.
Okay.
Remember what they did with Tommy Harris and jeez.
Tank Johnson.
Thank you very much.
St.
Go back,
Johnson.
go back to edge. Go back to edge. We're gonna beat this fucking defense up. Go to Yaya Diaby.
Yaya's in.
Go back up.
Yeah,
Go back up.
Yaya's gone. Oh,
No,
you
we
want
ain't
Yaya
gonna-
right here?
Grab that guy.
Jeez. Okay.
Now we can go grab another corner. Let's go get a corner.
Or receiver.
Let's get. Go down a little bit. I don't like the value here. Let's go receiver. Oh, you can't beat Tyler Scott here. Can't beat that. Let's take that.
That's right. The number. What's the next? QB.
Let's-
Here's where I go. QB. Oh,
I'm not going QB. I'll get him after the draft.
God, you suck. My draft. I'm taking DTR right here.
I'm going.
Developmental QB behind Justin Fields and PJ Walker.
I'm
But
going
okay.
tight end. I'm going tight end right here. Find Cameron McDonald, Florida State. Bam.
It's 239.
Okay. Now you go back. Now you go back to the trenches because you got extra picks. Go to offensive guard. No, go to offensive tackle. The value ain't there. Now you go. Now you start working in your secondary a little bit. Let's go back to cornerback. Illinois
Mr.
guy.
Nomad. Mr. Nomad, this is President Warren. I need to see you in my office.
Hey, I like Cam Mitchell. I like Cam Mitchell because he's not only a cornerback, he's a guy that you can work in the deep half of your secondary too. So take Cam Mitchell. Now go back to your edge. Let's beef up. Byron Young, edge, Tennessee.
Yeah, we said it.
Mr.
Said the name
Nomad,
at the same
clear
time.
out your locker too, please.
Let's go
Clear out
to
your locker
running
in
back.
your office.
Let's see if we can get let's see if we can get something popping with him.
Getting security on the phone.
You're right.
Okay, so you telling me you telling me you won't take Mo Ibrahim here? Okay. So,
I was just
so
going to say, yeah, Mo.
we pretty
Mo-
much answered everything. Let's go quarterback. Let's see what we got. Let's see what's over there.
Ah,
I'll take this one from the chat. Who's the best quarterback in this one? I'll let the chat draft that guy.
Mr.
I'm so
Nomad.
far behind in
clear
chat.
out
I
your
just
desk.
scroll down 18 million chats. There we go. Holy cow! It's like, okay. I
Security.
You know what? Go receiver.
Max Dugan is not bad. He's mobile. He's had some
Max Dugan
health
is
issues
not bad.
that kind of scare me.
You know what? Shorty, take liberty. You think we can? You think we can do something with that guy? He is mobile. Go ahead and get him.
Max.
Go ahead and take him. That one's you. We're probably done.
Yeah, we're done. Mr. Nomad, come up to the president's office. Security.
Hey, hold on. Time out, PJ. How you gonna look at this draft and tell me we didn't vastly fucking improve?
I'm going to say this. I think we improved. I think
We improved like a
guys-
motherfucker.
I think your value
Now the
is
swearing
off.
is coming out.
I think your value
we
is
have to
off.
we have to let Vernon talk more because it soothes everyone into saying MFer.
Sorry, Vernon, man, but I had to. They're gonna
That's
attack
all
me
right.
for my picks, but I got to stand by this.
That's
I
all
know.
right.
I love
You have-
Yaya.
At least he didn't send a drone and
There you go. The drone.
Well, you see, here's the thing that we all should prepare ourselves for is that Poles and Crew is going to pick some guys. We're going to be like, who? Who's that? And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that because I rely on them as professional scouts with all the information to choose the guys. The things that I do in the mock drafts is just because they're big, strong, and fast or look good in underwear. Right, Shorty?
Right.
J2K said, "How many defensive ends do we have now? You can never have too many pass rushers ever. Nor can you can never have too many defensive tackles. You always need to be able to cycle those guys out and be just as strong with the first batch as you are with the second one.
Well, isn't that what San Fran was doing? They circulate
Exactly.
the entire D line.
Exactly. You need to be really strong there. And so that's what I did. I beefed up our defense, got us a couple more weapons on offense, got us, basically we got stronger on defense because I see us on the roster based on the things I've seen them do in the offseason as a pretty potent offense. And so what I did was go in there with a defensive mindset to really beef up and make sure we have depth. And that was the mindset every time I go into a mock draft is to make sure we have dog players and to make sure we have dog players behind the dog players. And so when you look at this draft, that's what you're going to see.
We ended up with 17 total picks in this draft and one in next year from Pittsburgh.
But the beautiful part about that is the better guys that we draft down the road, if they're due for a contract, we don't want to pay them. Now they're worth something because they're good players. And we can get future draft capital trading them instead of what Ryan Pace guys would leave. They would all leave for retirement.
Right.
So building young through the draft, now you're setting your franchise up with good depth, good frontline starters. And in a few years, now you can flip those guys and you can retain the North after taking it. I see the plan. It's coming together.
First of all, let me say this. I love Nomad. Nomad knows I love him. But
This sounds
draft
bad.
here,
This sounds bad.
I'm just saying. But this draft here, the problem I have with it is he didn't take the guys at the value where they were at. He overreached, I think, on a lot of his picks. And the reality would be Bears drafting 17 players, not all of them will make the team. They will not have a team filled with 17 rookies. I don't believe that. Not in year two. Had this been last year, maybe so. That's the issue I have. But the players, he got some good players. I'm not going to lie about that. He just overreached because even with the right guy, I thought he could have got him later on. And he could have got a more quality defensive tackle at 17.
Is it an
hold on,
overreach?
Nomad. Let me back you up.
High?
Hold on. I got your back on this, Nomad.
All right.
Would the Bears have overreached with the third pick in the draft if they took Patrick Mahomes?
Answer that. That's a good question.
If they sat there, if they did not trade, if the Bears did not trade that 2027 first round pick, and they just sat there at 3, and they took Patrick Mahomes at 3, would that, at the time, think back at the time, would that have been a reach, or just what you valued that position to be at that?
I think we all would have. I think everyone here would have said it was an overreach. Yes.
Right, but you would have been wrong.
Right.
Right. I was wrong. We were all wrong on that.
That's
PJ.
one pick. So,
PJ.
We're talking 10 with him. I'm so go ahead.
No, I know what you're saying.
Put it this way. You know what? We all would value somebody. I would value somebody different than you might. Shorty might value something different than Vernon might, and Foster different than Triple R. We don't know what it looks like on somebody's draft board. Based on my study and what I saw in these guys, I didn't see one freaking guy that I overreach for because I did the work to study him. I only pick guys that I study. And I'm not saying that anybody else knows less than I do. It's based on what I saw on tape. And I really value these guys. And that's why I went with it. You know what I mean? I really think that we are going to be a potent offense if we grab a couple of pieces there as far as the O-line goes, get you a stud running back, get you a few extra pieces in receiver that can help complement the receivers that you have, and you go hard on defense. Make this a really defensive draft and really make yourself stout, not only in your front 4 and your front 7 and your front 11, get some depth behind it. And so when you look at these picks again, and Shorty, I hope that you repost this on Twitter to say, hey, this is Nomad's picks for the draft, because I can't do it. But you will see that I emphasize defense because I really think that's where we need to really dig in.
Now, let me say this, and I'll be quick. According to the value chart on that mock is what I'm saying you overdrafted. Now, reality is something totally different. In the example of Mahomes, yeah, okay, that's reality. So according to, if we was taking the mock draft by gospel, according to how they got players rated, that's why I say it's an overreach. Now, in reality, do I believe Wright is going to be the 40th ranked player? No, he's not. But according to that draft chart or that mock draft, he was a 40th rank, and drafting him at 17 was an overreach if he was ranked at 40. Is my point.
That's why I didn't give a damn about none of that.
Who's making these numbers?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I'm just going according to what the mock says. Now, in reality, it's different. I agree.
Right. Okay.
That's why I just ran right through all those barriers, and I knew what I saw on tape, and I knew how I valued those guys. I knew I didn't want to miss those guys, and so to ensure that I got those guys, I just flat out ignored where I thought some of those positions were, like PJ said, were overdrafts. Forget all that. Get your guys and get up off of there. That's the way I thought about the whole thing.
More material.
Report to Mr. Warren's office.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with Nomad, man. A lot of those guys I like. I'm not saying Poles is going to do it that way. I see him doing more of what he did last year. As we get a little deeper in the draft, he's going to start picking up more picks and maybe try and get those 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks for next year to use, maybe even this year. I don't know, because the guy seems like he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. But we got to get value, and we have to get bodies. I don't mean, I want talented people, but we got to get bodies, man. How many guys are on this team that are going to be here right now, just like going from last year to this year? And last year we knew a lot of them weren't going to be here.
Right.
But even this year, how many guys can you sit down and write out a list of the roster right now? Let's not even take the draft into consideration and start going through those guys and checking off. He ain't going to be here next year. He ain't going to be here next year unless he has a good year. I mean, we got guys we're throwing off the team right now before we even get to the draft. Cody White here, he's gone. This guy's gone. That guy's gone. And everybody's board. Gag Gabriel says it all the time. Everybody's board is different. I usually do like 300, 400, 500 mocks every year. Almost never. Last year was the best year I had, where I actually picked our first 2 picks in order.
Doesn't that feel great when you do that?
Immediately after mock. It's never happened to me ever before, ever. And 4 guys that I picked in my mock are on the Bears roster somehow. That's never happened before either. Maybe 1 or 2. I've gotten lucky maybe and gotten 3 by mistake. But Poles is just weren't we talking last week about what do we got, 10 picks and everybody's going over?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we all agreed that we were going to have more than 10 bodies here probably.
Yeah, for sure.
The only way I think that doesn't happen is if Poles looks at the 50, the 53 and those 60 picks and says, man, we got, you know what? We got to package something here together, because this guy that I want, if I don't get him by 45 or 46, he's gone. Mm-hmm. So, Nomad, I got no problem with that. Was pick 258 our compensation pick on there? Did we trade that? Because I had a hard time seeing everything.
I think so.
Guys, I'm gonna hop out real
Because
quick.
if 258 wasn't
you
on
guys
there,
go
I
at
want
it.
Jake Moody, kicker from Michigan.
Yeah, Gordy,
We traded out of it.
put up the first 11 draft picks if you can.
Oh no, he just dipped out. So
I think he just stepped out.
I can't do it because the screen. I already like changed the screen because I was trying to send it or tweet it, but it went back to the entire draft, which I would have to scroll through the entire thing. But I have to pee really quick, so I'll be right back and I can do that for you. Hold up.
Go ahead.
Hey, Nomad, I'll get that out of this and I'll post it on Twitter.
Post it, man. We need all the barroom love we can get. A lot of people, you know,
Absolutely.
and putting their takes out there. No man hasn't put anything out there for the bar room. I don't think the bar room's put anything out there as far as mock picks. And so hopefully I can represent something that makes sense. You know, I really do believe that we look really good on offense, minus a piece or two on the offensive line. I really do. I think we are probably a long-term center. Now, when I say long-term, I mean, I don't think Lucas Patrick got his fair shake at center. I wouldn't be mad if we started the season with him at center. We do need to draft our long-term center. So I think that guy's on the board. I do think, and I get killed every time I say this, I think Braxton Jones needs to be challenged at left tackle. Not to say he didn't do a really good job this year as a rookie. I don't think his power at his base power is going to increase in the offseason, not one offseason. So I think if they can get a Paris Johnson or Carter Warren or Anton Harrison, I think it would be something to challenge Braxton Jones with. And so either one of those guys can move from one side to the other. May the best man win. I do believe also that we definitely need a long-term tight end. I don't know that they're going to sign Cole Kmet. I don't think everybody loves him because he's from the area, but I don't know that they feel the same way in the front office about him because he's not dynamic. You know? And so that's the way I went in this draft. I thought we were pretty decent on the offense. I think we definitely needed depth on defense, and that's just my mindset, and that's how I drafted.
Makes sense.
Yep.
You know what would be
Hey,
really
how many times
interesting?
last year were you guys looking at a pick during the draft and go, wow, I can't believe this guy went that early? Because I probably said it 7 or 10 times last year. I won't say way early, but
again.
10 or 12 picks sometimes. And then here, the Bears, they drafted Velus Jones in the 3rd round. I had him going in the 5th. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing all angles out there, all of them. Because you don't know what the next GM's looking at. They can look at stuff and see it. I got my blinders on, right? So I'm only looking at this. There's another GM over here looking at it from this angle, and he sees something different or different scheme fit. There's too many factors involved, and especially with these rankings, because all of them stink. I mean, the rankings, when I look at them, okay, I can agree with stuff here and there, and some I just don't understand. And then they change them. The closer you get, like the day before the draft, they finally get the rankings close to what they should be. You're looking at these mocks like I do every day. Maybe the Draft Network's probably the best one. It really is. Like we were talking last week. I'll shut up and let you guys say something about this stuff.
I'm just curious in his mock draft with Nomad, does he have Thule playing 3 technique or defensive end?
Thule?
Yeah.
I'm playing them all up and down the line, depending on the situation and down and distance. You know, that's the way you gauge that. He's 290. He showed up at the combine at 260, so he can be quicker and more explosive. That's the smart thing to do when you just going on putting on shorts and impressing people who are impressed with that. He got out in 260, but he's going to be a 290 guy on the field and probably better as his body matures. He's a tweener. He's one of those guys that you can put on the edge, and in passing downs, you can put him in a speed package and bring him up your front, up the middle of your front. And so to me, his value is double next to a whole bunch of other guys that you could pick at that position.
You want to hear something funny, guys? So they were doing. I hit TTNL, and they were doing exactly the same thing we're doing tonight.
Don't
And
say
I
those
just
letters
we were
on
about
here.
this pick, and I wrote what?
Don't say those letters on this network.
Okay, well, screw that, but whatever. We're doing. They're doing the same thing, and hey, man, I'm bored, so I'm looking around. If you guys were on, I would have been on. I've already watched every barroom show this week. You know what I mean? Anyways, so we get to about the same pick, and I'm going Thule, and 5 guys sat there and said, "Nah, he ain't worth it." I'm like, "Did you guys look at all his stuff? You know, he's not just going to play one position." And I was ignored. I mean, but again, that's a different GM than Nomad, the GM. So it's perception, man, and system.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm going to agree with everything you picked 100%, Nomad, the way you did it, but the scheming, the way that you're running there and looking at, okay, I don't like this guy. Let's see what they're going to offer. Okay, that's a good offer. I'll take that offer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? The guy that I want is here, but I know I can get him in the next 7 or 8 picks. I'm going to move back again. And we've seen what Poles did last year in his first draft. I do a lot of looking at the Kansas City drafts in the last 5 years because I believe he's more involved than we are led to believe, because the guy just born in the trenches, a scout.
Right.
I can tell you. Go ahead, PJ.
I think Thule is going to surprise a lot of people. Honestly, I really do. I think he's, if given that, put on that weight 295 or so, he'll be a nice 3 technique that's people are thrown off by because he came into the combine weighing 260 something. People are thrown off by, oh, well, he may not be a 3 technique because it's too small. But like you said, him playing normally at 290, he come in at 295, he'll be a nice 3 technique.
Yeah. You know, the one thing about defensive tackles, defensive linemen, period, is when they're in college, the propensity of getting to the quarterback is a lot easier because you can overpower, because you're just a more dominant athlete and you're stronger. You just overpower the people in front of you. That's the propensity. You just overpower. When you get to the NFL and thinking you can overpower everybody, sometimes it takes 2 to 3 years for a defensive tackle or a defensive lineman to really develop. The first 2 years may not look like a whole lot, but in that 3rd year, they start to develop that one pass move, that one pass rush move, and a counter to it, which the veterans are really good at. You know what I mean? They're really good at that one move and quickly being able to counter to the next one. And so, you know, being a guy who thinks like that in the college ranks, thinking that you can overpower everybody that you encounter, when you come to the NFL, you're going to feel something different. So everybody is all excited about Jalen Carter and all these other different guys that, you know, these guys are going to run into some problems. If that's your game, to overpower everybody, you're not going to be able to do that in the NFL. It might take you a while.
Nomad question. Your mindset during this draft that you just did, from a coach perspective or GM?
I'm thinking from both, and I'm mostly coach because I'm a student of the game, and most coaches are.
Okay, just curious.
Mr. Nomad, report to Mr. Vernon's office.
I'll be in there. If you paddle me, I'll take it.
Now let me ask you a question, Nomad. Offensive line wise, and pushing Braxton Jones, I'm all for it. But now my question is, you're saying that, you know, guys can play left tackle, right tackle, it doesn't matter. But, you know, like Leatherwood or plenty of other examples we see, not everybody can just switch back and forth like that.
Mm-hmm.
So are you sure that Braxton Jones, who I'd have never heard has ever played right tackle, could play right tackle?
I think he has the propensity, he has the mind, and he's let's just say he's receptive, and he's more of a sponge than Alex Leatherwood. Alex Leatherwood seems to me, just based off of his interviews and the way I receive what he puts out there, it seems like he's on the left side in his mind, and that's where he belongs, and that's that. Braxton Jones is more of a guy that seems open to the challenge and willing to accept whatever comes with that, if that makes any kind of sense. I think he's more capable of stepping and taking that challenge and overcoming it than Alex Leatherwood is, if that makes sense.
But do you think Braxton could play right tackle at a high level?
With his mind, no question.
Okay.
I think we'd have problems given the fact that he's getting bull rushed on the left side and your bigger defensive ends are on the other side. So I think you have big problems on that side.
No doubt about that. I mean, the power is going to be a problem whatever side he's on. He just asked me, does he have the propensity to go over there and be able to function on that side? And I said, yes. Did I say he would function very well? No, I didn't. I said that he'd be able to step up to the challenge and accept it and do well, up until that kind of what you just said, PJ. I don't believe a guy can get that much stronger in one off season. He'd have to prove me wrong, and I will come on the barroom and apologize if he does. I don't see that happening in one off season. I think it takes a couple.
11-6, baby. I'm calling it for this year.
Book it.
11-6.
I'll give my comment after preseason.
I'll do it after the draft.
No, I'm always way too optimistic. I think we're gonna take the division. We're gonna make the playoffs. We're gonna win the Super Bowl, and then we're gonna have the first pick in the draft.
Hey, Vernon, has Shorty or the other Dan always been a great pontificator as long as you've known him?
Oh, Vernon,
Absolutely.
please.
Always.
Oh, please.
That's a show in itself.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right.
I approached Aldo with the Pontificator show, and he's like, that wouldn't work on a sports network. I'm like, okay.
Remember, hey, Shorty, remember?
Stay tuned. It's already in the works.
Remember when I told you, when I said to you, I feel like everything is aligned. The stars, the moon, everything is aligned.
Mm-hmm.
I meant what I said, man. And I believe everything we're talking about tonight, on top of free agent wire, where we are in priority free agency, where we are as far as the draft pick goes, we're still sitting at a spot that's pretty sweet. We can still actually trade back and actually get some guys. I don't think if we jumped out of the top 10, that's the end of the world. I do not. There's 200 and some more 70, 80 players that get drafted in the NFL. Guess what? There's thousands of guys that can play their asses off. Do you have coaches that can teach, train, and coach these guys to where they need to be? I think the answer Poles has figured out is yes. They took a roster that was a C-level roster and made them competitive. So that tells me that no matter where we pick in this draft, he's going to help me find the guys that he needs, that he can coach and put on the level that can really compete in this league. And so I don't care. Trading back is no problem when you have coaches that can teach and do what they need to do. And so
I agree. I think the move is to trade back.
Yes.
I agree. I 100% agree. I think at 9, I would love to be able to trade back to like teams to get a second round draft pick, or in my dream scenario, be able to get Chase Young as well as a 16.
Mm-hmm. I would love that.
Oh, man.
Well, you see, but that brings up like Oliver and the running back Austin Eckler and Chase Young, and everybody is being tied to, well, if the Bears trade this guy or trade for this, they got the money. So everybody is like, yeah, well, we can trade with the Commandos and get either Young or Sweat, or trade with, this team and get this guy that's about to want to get paid. or the Ed Oliver, drama. That's just a beautiful position that we're in right now. And I'm old as a motherfucker, and I can't remember an off season that's been this exciting. And it's like, yeah,
But
we here on a Friday night, 2, 3 in the morning. I don't know what time it is where the fuck you at. And
You aren't as old as this motherfucker. Look
thing.
at this guy. He's much older than you are.
well, let me address it. Let me address those trade real quick. In the position we're in, I would not trade for a running back. And the only reason why Young is appealing to me is because he's on his rookie contract. Washington already has a lot of money tied into the defensive line, and chances are they're not going to be able to re-sign Sweat or Young. And seeing as though Young is on this rookie contract longer, that's why I would go after him. But Eckler is off the board for me. Henry's off the board. All these guys are. And I definitely would not give up my ninth pick for Oliver. No way.
We talking about a running back, and we talking about a defensive end. The value
Tackle at Oliver.
Right.
You know what? I'll address all three of those really quick. Running back, I don't think you trade anything to get a running back unless he's somebody that's a smack out of the park home run hitter. You don't even mess around with that guy. He's just that dangerous. You don't ever do that. But Chase Young he's a very intriguing proposition. Why? Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna gamble on what you project him to be minus ACL injury. And for a kid that young, what you have to consider is, am I willing to take that risk that he can get better? What I saw towards the end of this year wasn't promising, but that's his first year off of a ACL injury. So you can't really fairly judge that. What you really have to judge is his work ethic. Is he behind the scenes doing the things that he needs to do to get himself stronger than he was before he had that injury? I don't know that answer. So that's why it's a big old question mark. Would I be willing to look at that if I was Ryan Poles? Fuck yeah. However, Ed Oliver, traits-wise, is that much different than Draymond Jones. In an Eberflus 4-3, I don't consider him a fit based on what I've seen. And so, he might be a really good player, but I don't see him as an Eberflus fit. Not what I think fits a 4-3. I'm not coaching that team. And so that's the way I look at it, Vernon, and in that terms of the coach. How is he seeing this? And so that's the best way I can come at this whole thing is imagine what this guy's seeing.
Right.
And that's where I'm at with it.
Well, guys, you sound like you guys are out of thought.
I got 100 thoughts because I've been looking at everybody's comments in the chats because we are the chat, remember?
I have some questions. Right. J2K asked earlier, with the depth of offensive tackle in this draft, would you or the guys trade back to get extra picks and take a third or fourth offensive tackle, or take the best one at 9? I think that we just kind of answered that with that draft, right? So that
trade back.
Yeah. So that one was saved. Let me just get rid of that one.
Man, I know we want Paris Jones, but what if you're dangling Paris Jones and somebody's offering the world for Paris Jones at 9? What do you do if that happens? Say Pittsburgh says, dude, we need this guy. We need this guy now. We'll give you 1732, another a 5th or 6th round pick, and maybe a 3rd round pick next year because they got to have him. What do you do? Do you take Paris Jones or do you move back like JK's talking about? I'll take the picks and I'll get Wright or somebody else that I can coach up and put in that position. Yep. Because we're not going to win the Super Bowl next season. Now, if I need Paris to win the Super Bowl, screw it. I'll move up to get the guy. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know where I said this, but what if a quarterback's sitting there in Tampa Bay at 19 wants to move up to 9? And I can pull that up if you guys want to see
what you're offering though.
The order.
Only if they're going to offer what Poles wants.
What if they
something
gave us-
that blows him
What if
away.
they gave us 20? We swapped picks, and they gave us a second round pick this year, and then a 2024 and a 2025.
2024.
2024 to 2025 what?
First round pick.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
What would you do?
Of course. But is that a realistic pick?
Give me.
If it's for a quarterback,
I don't know.
my question is that a realistic pick? Because when it comes to quarterbacks, those are what makes the picks of more value. So if there's a quarterback in there that everyone knows that Tampa Bay wants, and they're going to move up 10 slots.
Let the bidding begin.
The draft gets all messed up, and somehow Levi's there at 9. The guy from Kentucky, right? I can't remember his name anymore.
Yeah.
Any one of them.
So
It could be Richardson.
well, right. I'm just using him as an example.
Right.
I get it, man. And it's again.
Or they offer Vita Vea.
Poles is, if you're gonna wow me with that stuff, man, geez, you know what? Okay. I'm gonna take that because now I know I can even take that pick for 25 and use that either in this year's draft later or early in next year's draft or whatever I need to use it in to get somebody else. Just because I'm getting that pick in 25 doesn't mean I got to wait 2 years to use it.
Hey,
so I mean, Paul, again, it's take the blinders off and look at everything from every angle, man. I'll shut up.
If you chose to, then boom, you have 2 picks in the next 2 drafts in the first round.
What if they thought they felt like they only needed a piece or two on the offensive line, and let's make them think that we really are sold on Paris Johnson at our number 9 pick. We gotta have that guy. Why? Because we think he's a blue chip player at his position. We think that this guy is going to change everything for us, and his value is going to go up and up and up. And other teams around the league are seeing it the same way. They think this dude is the guy. They think this dude is the guy at left tackle. Let's just say you really value him, but you're not absolutely feeling like he's going to change everything for you. And so you reach up there for him and you really groom that position and that pick, and you make everybody want it more than you. And so you're willing to come up off that pick for a couple other spots. Right. And then you go get a Carter Warren or you go get an Anton Harris or somebody like that.
Yep.
Knowing all the time that you only wanted to project your energy towards this player so that other people would value that player as much as you do so that you can get to where you really want to be.
Right.
So.
Well said. So we have
what if you do all that, Nomad, and now you get there and your tackle's not there? And I'm only saying this because I'm looking at it from another angle again. So I do this, and I think it's going to work out the way I want, but all of a sudden, man, so I made that trade for Paris, and now these son of a bitches just snapped all the OTs up because of that trade or whatever that's going through their mind. So then I'm like, all right, well, you just left me. Okay, maybe I don't. People are going to bitch because I'm not going to get the protection that Fields needs today. But instead, I'm going to get all these other picks. And, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys, Zach Harrison is on our team now because the tackle's not there. Would you guys be mad if something like that happened? We got a gold mine on defensive tackle or line, but weren't able to get that offensive tackle. Because I think Poles is going to he'll find stuff on the waiver wire. We forget about the waiver wire that you guys were talking about earlier, and all the other ways that there's going to be to find players, man. Some of these junior college guys.
That's
there's too much out there, too much to look at.
That's when you go make a hell of a trade. You go make a hell of a trade because you got licked in the draft. You lost, you gambled and you lost, and you got licked, and you go make a hell of a trade because you did. And that's what you do. You go find a guy that's up for grabs, somebody that's a team that's willing to come off a top end tackle that you need, and you go make that trade because you gambled and you lost. And so you need to fill that spot, and so that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're sold on Jenkins being a tackle.
And it happened.
Wait,
I'm sorry, Vernon.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, gentlemen, this was awesome. I'm going to jump off and finish task number 15 on my honeydew list.
It was a pleasure
It was
meeting you.
great meeting all of you, and I'm sure I'll meet you all again.
You
Thank you
have
for your
been
presence,
the
Vernon.
star of the show,
Have a
Vernon.
great evening.
What'd you
sir.
say there?
You have been the star of the show.
Well, didn't
Absolutely.
mean to be.
Thank you for coming on,
It's
my
just
friend.
great participating, man.
Thank you for your
It's
presence,
a
Vernon.
remake of Thriller.
Okay. All right, guys.
Right
have a
on,
great
Vern.
Thank you, Vernon, for your time and patience with us.
And thank your lovely wife as well.
Yes. Peace.
Thank you, sir.
Love you, brother. Have a good night.
We got it. Bye, Vernon. We need to get on these. Everybody's in the chat with tons of stuff, man. Tons of stuff in that chat tonight.
No, Foster's right, man. We need to talk to the chat.
This is another question that Leo was asking. Thoughts on Bears
Leo,
secondary? How are we feeling about it going into year 2?
Everybody take a minute, answer it.
Secondary wise, I'm going with I'm ready, not ready, but I think Ejac can be upgraded. I know we need another corner because Vildor and the other guy was like, nah. And so with Blackwell, with Gordon, with Brisker, don't know what Hicks has yet. So we might get another, young safety and another young but top cornerback secondary wise, in my view.
PJ.
Okay, my take is this, real fast. I would try to address cornerback with the free agent signing of Rock Yasin. I would also try to draft a nickel probably in about the 5th round. As far as safety, I would want to draft one in about the 4th or 5th round as well. That's my real quick take on how I would address the secondary. I think we need help, basically.
I think we're a little better than we appear to be. I think we need help on the corner. Maybe pick up a safety, but I think I'd look at a bunch of UDFAs for the safety and another cornerback even, because Pohl seems to be good at finding these guys, or maybe a second-year player. And then I think next year is when I definitely would have to address Eddie's spot. He's getting up there, and we want this team young. We want it young so that we can stay young and keep refilling guys as their contracts are going up or they're getting up there in years, man. Just like Kansas City does. That's what we need to do here, man. They don't sit around and wait. They're on it.
Go ahead, Nomad.
Danny.
Okay, I won't answer this as a fan. I'm gonna answer this as a guy that studied Eberflus and his history and what he's done previously. I do believe they value Jalen Johnson, not Jalen Johnson, but Eddie Jackson. I do think they're looking for his eventual replacement because you can't have Eddie Jackson for long. But he is quick, he's fast, and he takes the ball away. And every safety doesn't do that. And so I think they value him, but they know they need to have a guy up and coming right behind him. However, Jalen Johnson, I got a feeling he thinks of himself as a top 3 to 5 cornerback in the league, and he's got every right to feel that way about himself. And he's probably going to ask for that kind of money. And I think in the end, I think it's going to be he's going to end up being the odd man out because his Eberflus's history in Indianapolis is he felt like he can draft defensive backs. And if they didn't work out, he can go back to the draft and go get another one. And so to me, Jalen Johnson is gonna get valued by somebody. I'm not sure it's gonna be here. And so I know for a fact that we can get better in the secondary. It's gonna be a couple more pieces coming in the secondary. We don't know exactly what they look like. It's probably gonna be some tweener players, guy that can play corner and safety, and it's probably gonna be a nickel corner that comes in at least. And so that's how I feel about the secondary.
I think that they're going to keep Gordon on the outside and look for a nickel, kind of like what you're talking about, Nomad. And I think that they might have the answer to Eddie Jackson already on the team, maybe with Hicks. Um, there's also other. That's a different subject, but the offensive line with Jatiri Carter, like players like that have kind of been overlooked. So, I think that maybe that player might be on the team already, but I do think they're gonna if they end up with a lot more picks than they have now, which I believe that they are. I think we kind of all agree with what just happened there, and with that draft, that we're going to end up with a boatload of picks, and we're going to build this team with last year's draft and this year's draft with the previous players that we had before that, and re-signing some of those guys. Obviously, Justin's the leader of this team. Did you guys hear Edmonds from the Titans talk about Justin Fields? They asked him what it was like to come to this team and play with Justin Fields, and did he have any influence on that? And he was like, "Excuse my French, but fuck yeah."
Walker.
Yeah, Walker, Tremont Walker.
Oh yeah.
So Justin Fields he's bringing this aura to the Bears that everyone wants to. He's already starting to draw players that want to come and play with this team. So
I agree.
this is amazing. That's why I was just so excited to just jump on tonight and talk Bears with you guys, because with anyone who would talk Bears, really, because I'm just excited, man. This is exciting.
You got any more questions?
I don't. I didn't save any more. I was looking for them.
Oh, okay.
Let me go back.
But here I got
this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Foster.
No, I was just gonna say I threw out a bunch of stuff, man. There's a bunch of stuff J2K had on there that we could probably tell all these guys, man. We got J2K's got a bunch of stuff on there. Damon's got a couple good points. James Ford, I can't remember his comment. Matt Kedro, he was mentioning something about Henry and Eckler. I wanted to talk about that. J-Rock brought something up about Paris Johnson. Mr. Mayhem had a good comment. Leo Factor, I forgot what I wrote. I can't even read my own writing. Sam Rush, Nicholas Albright, Taurine was on there. Derek Carter, Bear Truth 9, Joe Treviero. I agree with something Joe Treviero wrote. I don't know what. I wrote it on here. CJ Wobbles, but J2K's got a bunch of stuff on there. I'd love to see J2K on this show, or at least hear him, dude.
I can get him on here right now if he wants to hop on. He's been on the show before. I'll send him a link.
We could the Thule thing, man. He brought up he's like, Thule's not a 3-down-3 tech. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, don't you guys? Do you guys see that with him? He's not going to be at 3 tech every time, but that's part of the point of drafting him is to be able to find these guys. And I love this option stuff with polls, man. Even when we were doing that draft with Nomad, I kept looking at AA. How are we going to fit? How are we going to get him? Because I really want that guy. The guy from Northwestern. I can't pronounce his name. But there's tons of stuff. If you look through that team, we can make 50 questions.
I'm trying to save this question from J2K. If we don't draft a high-round cornerback this year, would you and everyone be cool with drafting a cornerback next year with our highest first-round pick?
Okay, just 1 second,
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Just 1 second to address what Foster just said, really quick, and go back to your question, Shorty, in a second. But Foster just said he wanted to draft AA. You know what I've been doing privately when nobody's looking. I'm spending my time at night when I got time, my couple of hours, 2-3 hours I got at night, studying what I think Eberflus would want instead of what I think I want and what the fans want. And his history is pretty clear. All you have to do is go look at an Indianapolis Colts defense, and you can see what he prefers up front. And you saw Grover Stewart right there in the middle, holding things down. And he's not just a guy that can play the one tackle or the nose tackle. He's a guy that when he wants to, he can switch over to a 3 tech. He's a 300. He was 325 pounds, but he worked his body into shape and got to 315. And he was more lean and strong. And so he likes tweeners. He likes guys like Thule that you can put at an end, but you can also put it at a 3 tech. He likes nose guards that you can put at 1 tech. You can also play at 3. So guys that are transitional up and down the line of scrimmage. I liked a whole lot of people in this draft. I really studied a bunch of kids that I like. Double A is one of them, but it's just what I like. I'm trying to move fans towards what Eberflus prefers. And so you can see the picture clearer, you know what I mean? So that you can have an idea of where this guy might go.
Well, I gotta speak up for everybody. Calls him Tommy. That's his nickname. That's what his teammates
Tommy.
call him, Tommy.
Yeah.
So with him, Poe said specifically, if guys were outliers, at their position, and you look at the athletic traits, and then you look at how he was deployed along Northwestern's defensive line. He played, every position, edge, interior, all of that, depending on the situation. So that flexibility is there, and his only negative is his height. But it would seem like his arm length, he got those ape hangers going on, and I'm not going Jimmy the Greek. I can say ape hangers and not mean anything racial, but he's got very long arms, and so that would seem to, overcome the height issue. And so with that and the athletic prowess and the whole hits philosophy, that seems like, other than the height, a perfect Flus guy.
I just know he likes to be big in the middle between his 1 and his 3. He likes 2 big guys that can be interchangeable. You look at Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner. Grover Stewart is 6'4", 315 right now. He came in the league at 6'4", 325, smelted his body down to 315. DeForest Buckner was probably about 300 or 310 somewhere. He got him to 300, 305, got him really lean, and he's explosive, both of those guys. And so based on history, what I've seen so far, I'm not saying that Triple R is wrong, but if history is what I have to reach for, I believe that he wants 2 big guys there that can be interchangeable, big guys. So that's just where I come from with that.
Do you think Mozzie Smith is a Eberflus sort of guy?
Definitely. Okay. Keanu Benton, definitely. Jaquelin Roy, Jervon Dexter, definitely.
Now, Jervon Dexter, I think he's intriguing because I don't really know much about him, but he's about the size of Buckner, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Exactly.
6'6".
Was that a Florida Gators?
Yeah.
He's a pure power guy that hasn't learned how to really use his power and suddenness. When I say he puts it on guys, when he puts his hands on a defensive guard, if he's in that 3-tech position and he puts his hand on a guard trying to penetrate him, you can see the shot when he hits that dude with his hands. This dude's got heavy hands, and so does Keanu Benton. They really put it on guys. And if they can learn that, Keanu Benton is really good with the swim technique. He'll hit a guy and swim right off of him and would be right back in the backfield. Jervon Dexter is not there yet. He needs to learn that. So
to piggyback on what J-Rock is saying in the chat, I thought the same thing. I mean, he brought up a point when Buckner came available as via trade. I think so. I'm wondering, is that really Eberflus trait, or was he just the only 3-tech that was available that year?
No, I think he knew exactly what he was looking for. I think he knew exactly what he was looking for. He was looking for a guy that can be dominant. In the thing about this 4-3 studying Eberflus, and I'll just say this really quick, and I won't get long-winded about it. You have 4-3s that are gap control, and so what they do is slide up and down the line, and they try to maintain the line of scrimmage and try not to let you get too many yards. This defense that Eberflus designs is a penetration technique style of defense where you need to get past the guy in front of you if you have that one-on-one and get in the backfield and take away the line of scrimmage, move the line of scrimmage back. This is a penetration style of defense. This isn't a gap control defense in the 4-3.
Yeah, so it's a one gap shoot and go.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm intrigued by Mozzie being a one technique between him and Billings. I think they'd be great one techniques for us, and then our two or our three technique being in my scenario either a Jalen Carter, a Tommy, or even a Thule for that matter. Uh, Backing up what this Walker, I think his name is Walker, the guy we got from the Titans. So I know they like using a lot of depth on the D line. So I'm looking at the rotation like that personally.
Mozzie is a perfect fit, PJ. Actually, if you look at the Indianapolis Colts' defense, he is Grover Stewart. He is Grover Stewart. He's 6'3", 6'4", about 325 right now. Trim him down a few pounds, and you got Grover Stewart. That's
You
strong.
You think you'll last to the third round, Mozzie?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I find that to be intriguing. I really do. I think our three technique could be had in probably the first or second round, and I'm looking at real hard at Mozzie in the third. I really like having Mozzie in the third.
I love Mozzie, but
What I
think
loved where you were going with that draft, Nomad, was just stuck up on that defensive line, man.
I hope you put it
kill
online because I meant that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, Derek Carter. Jalen Carter would start for us, but he still would be in a rotation. It's the point I'm making as far as if we was to get Jalen Carter. He would start, but him and Walker would rotate as a three technique in my opinion.
Can I say something to Mr. Shorty? What I'm doing right now and what we're doing right now is we're building up the bar room to be something to be fucking reckoned with. And when I ask him to put something out that I did, it's not because I want it out of vanity, but I need to see more barroom stuff out there, our point of view of how we think about things. And it may be my mock draft, but it represents the barroom. It's not just me. It's just about us trying to grow this brand and trying to get to where we need to go. We're coming for the number one fucking spot. I don't give a fuck about no X. I don't give a fuck about no P. I don't give a fuck about no TT and L. Fuck them motherfuckers, man. We coming for them. Fuck them. I said it.
Hey,
I don't give a fuck no more.
Hey, no man, do me a favor. Address J2K here, saying that he don't think that Mozzie's a one tech or a fits in his offense. I mean defense.
They're gonna all look a certain way in college. It's about what you do with them once you get them to this level and what you expect of them on this level. They may see. I think they're gonna, if they take a guy like Mozzie Smith, they want him to be just like Grover Stewart. And when Grover Stewart is on that one tech and is cockeyed on that nose tackle, they want DeForest Buckner to be able to line up and do the same thing. So if they grab Mozzie Smith and a Keanu Benton, they expect them guys to be interchangeable, just like they expect the linebackers to be interchangeable. You might find T.J. Edwards at the wheel. You might find him at the mic. You might find Edmonds at the same thing. He likes guys that can be versatile. It's all throughout his defenses in Indianapolis. You can see it. Just go watch the tape.
And let me say this real quick. I'm sorry to take over here real quick, guys, but I want to say with Cliff Victoria, I am so happy we have a number one wide receiver. So happy we have a number one wide receiver. Totally happy about that. I think he will elevate the play of the other guys.
I couldn't agree more. Go
Packers.
What is that? What is that? Effing Foster.
It says go Packers go and take the fucking Brewers with you.
All I can say is the barroom is coming, motherfuckers. Fuck the
That's right.
Group. Fuck the alphabet group. We coming, motherfucker. Tell them I said so.
You know, big up to everybody in the chat that's hanging out with us. Hit up the like button. And I'm sure everybody here is a subscriber. But if not, you know, go ahead and subscribe because the barroom got like a whole family of shows, sponsored by, the Podfather, respect due, to the Aldo man. So, show some support because, like Nomad was saying, we're all fans and we're all just sitting here, talking shit about our squad. But it's a good conversation that people want to have.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just said,
down in the ticker there, if you would like to join the show, just email that little ticker that's been running by in case you haven't seen it the entire time. DanTheDirtyBear@gmail.com, or in case you're listening to this on an audio cast, email DanTheDirtyBear@gmail.com to join this open mic night. And we can have up to 9 people on this show. So Nomad and I, take 2, and then we have 3 other guys with us now, 4 earlier. So plenty of room, guys. If you guys want to join, just let us know. We would love to have you on. This is the show. This open mic night is not about me. It's not about Nomad. It's about Triple R and effing Foster and PJ, because these guys are from chat, just like everyone out there in chat. J2K has been on the show before. Sorry, J2K, I should have reached out to you. You can come on right now if you wanted to, but we're getting ready to wrap this up soon. But I mean, this is what the show's about. Anyone that wants to, just email DanTheDirtyBear@gmail.com.
It's a whole lot different knowing your proclivity for the locker rooms.
Mr. Shorty, what do you think about the weekend market and where we should go? Should we press gas on the weekend? Yes or no?
Oh
Based
man,
on what you see.
You're not getting me to. No.
Yeah, you better do it. We're
not committing on the air to anything
I'm
now.
I'm finna twist your motherfucking head. I'm finna twist your head right now. Should we do more weekend shows? Tell them in the chat. Tell them in the comment section. Tell them right fucking now. Do we need to be live and more active on the weekends? Tell them.
It's all the way live.
All the way
live.
I'm telling you, dude. We're going to be running this shit, man, pretty soon.
Marcellus, please join us.
Marcellus.
Please, we'd love to have you.
We're going to be running this shit, Shorty. I'm telling you, it's going to be, you and I have had our days, but I think we're where we need to be on solid ground. Let's run this shit, dude. Let's run it.
Telling you, Mr. Shorty, you got to give my little brother one. Marcellus Jordan, that's my little brother. Got to get him on.
Marcellus, email down there below. Also, look at here. You've asked. Marcellus, this is also my Twitter handle right here. You've asked earlier. It's right here at Mr. Shorty on Twitter.
Look at Taurine. He said it'd be dead on Saturday nights. We need to answer that.
My DM is open if you want to DM me on Twitter. I don't keep my DM closed. So
Aldo ain't gonna always be here to hold your hand.
Slide in the DM.
We're gonna do this shit.
I want to give Cliff a hell yeah, man, with the receiver thing. And Cliff, don't let your meat loaf anymore. And if it's coming, maybe plug it up, dude.
You know what? Hold on a second. Guys, I sat there. I had to pontificate that for a while. I was like,
oh, crap.
Like the next day, I was like, why in the fuck would Cliff be making meatloaf it was 12:07. He's in the same time zone as I am. And I'm like, but I figured it out because the next night he was like on a show, he was like, I'm eating my meatloaf with ketchup. That's the only thing I've eaten today. So he was just up. He made a meatloaf for tomorrow. That's what he did.
He made a pizza tonight.
I think Cliff cooked like 3 meals that night, man.
He has a pizza in the oven right now. I need to get down to Florida.
I think I'm just moving down by him. I'll hang out on the beach. I'll hang out on the beach close to Cliff's house. And then when I smell shit, I'll just run over there. What the fuck's Cliff cooking today? I'm there.
Right.
I was like an hour away from Cliff in Florida for over 3 months, and we wanted to get together for dinner, and I never made it happen because I was so busy with chores around there, like, you know, inheriting someone's house and having to go through all their stuff. So it's just been. We'll be back there soon, Cliff, and we're having dinner, man. Because
It's like,
and you're making me dinner at your house.
I just unthawed a turkey. I'm
I'm gonna
cook
help
it
you
right
though.
now. I'm finna cook a turkey right
Fucking
now.
no man with the turkey.
Hey, I got a real quick round robin question before we get out of here that T.Dub brought up. And he said, Robbie Gold, would you bring him back?
Me?
Or
Me?
you just go around real quick. Yes, no.
No.
I didn't hear you.
No, you know what?
Robbie Gold,
No,
would you
man.
bring him back to a kick for the Bears?
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at his.
Nah.
I'm looking at his social media history first. I heard he said some foul shit, and I'm gonna look at that first.
2 or 3 years ago, yeah, I think today I don't. I think this is a whole new thing, and we're gonna get the guy we need. I think his name is Jake Moody, but I don't know crap. I'm just some dumb roofer.
Hey, I need a new roof. I'm just saying, I need a new roof.
Hey,
So do I.
Nomad.
You want to come down to Georgia?
No, well, you're a little
Does
far.
the devil
Nomad.
come down to
I'll
Georgia?
get. Nomad. We'll hook up. I'll send you my information. Somehow we'll hook up.
No, that was PJ.
There was a question in there by King Buka, and it was for everybody. Real quick, give me one breakout player on offense and defense this coming season.
Okay.
I'll start even. And I complained about the pick 10 minutes ago. Velus Jones is going to be the breakout offensive player, and Jaquan Brisker is going to show us that last year was no freaking fluke, and he's better than that. Those are my two guys. Next.
Okay. Before I answer that, can I go check my turkey right quick? I'll just start cooking the turkey.
You don't have to eat it now. Just get it ready for tomorrow, like Cliff does.
Don't forget to put some juice on it.
Okay.
As long as your turkey's not messing with fucking Cliff's meatloaf and your turkey ain't fucking, then we're good.
I started thinking about it because I remember on the show I said, Cliff, put down the Adderall. You know, but it's like, no, the guy's just up hanging out with all of us. He's like, I might as well make a meatloaf tonight so I can have it tomorrow.
I'm going to go with J-Rock's answer of Claypool and Gordon.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, P.
Okay. I'm thinking TJ Edwards. I think he's going to really do well at the will linebacker. And for the offensive side, I'm really intrigued with, this is not a skilled position, but Nate Davis. I think he can dominate at that right guard.
Hold on a second. What was the question?
Who is our
Breakout
breakout
player
player?
on offense and defense, right?
Oh, did I pull it up? Because that was the question that I had starred. King Buka.
That was King Buka's question, man. Just answer it.
Wait, I thought Davis was supposed to play left guard because Tev was at right guard.
I don't think it's decided yet. You know, I'm still hoping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tev to right tackle. Right.
All right.
Right.
I think what Tanyan said in his presser in his first interview was right. This is tight end fueled offense. I think the tight end is going to be the stud. I think they thought that Kokomet could be that guy, but I know for a fact that Tanyan is way more dynamic. He's much more of a receiver, and he's going to have the breakout year, and that's why I think Kokomet might be the odd man out on the money tip. Y'all get mad at me, I don't care, but that's just the way I see it. On defense, I also believe that they're going to get the front. They're going to get the front where it needs to be. I think the linebackers are going to eat, but I think the secondary is going to eat more, and I suspect Eddie Jackson is going to be the beneficiary to it.
Let me ask you a question about Tanyan. Other than San Francisco in this type of offense, what other team that runs this offense tight end does well?
Jonnu Smith.
Did he play with New England?
Bengals?
Jonnu Smith was just in Tennessee, I believe.
Titans.
Or New England. They do similar shit there. Also, the guy that played in Detroit that just got traded to Minnesota.
Hutchinson.
What's his name?
Hutchinson.
Okay.
No,
Hutchinson?
that's a DN.
Hawkinson, wasn't it?
Hawkinson, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
Hawkinson.
TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah,
There's a few
There's
tight
something
ends.
wrong over here. That's all.
There's a few tight ends that
Dan.
really. Go ahead, man.
Hi,
Before we
Dan. I'm
continue
good.
with this conversation, can I just
My
wrap up
bad.
the last thing you said about Jackson? What if Eddie Jackson doesn't come back from that leg injury?
He'll be
Because
fine.
when you have leg injuries, I'm worried about both Jackson and Mooney. So I'm just curious, just to finish that thought, because that's a good conversation to have. His leg.
I think they'll be fine. Both of them. I think they're going to be fine. Modern sports medicine is something else. They've got all this time to really rehab and get themselves stronger than they were before they stepped into the arena. I wouldn't worry about any of that at all. You'd know about it if one of those guys weren't, progressing in a way that coaches or doctors would prefer. You'd hear about it because they leak every fucking thing. And so I'm not worried about any of that at all with those guys.
What does this gentleman have to say right now with that look on his face?
I don't have much to say. I just wanted to say there was maybe a couple guys in the chat that I didn't recognize. I don't know if you guys know them. I can't remember their goddamn names, but what was that?
We do have some new people in chat, don't we?
Who's T.G.I.F? I'm sorry, guys. I'm just late to the party here, I'm at the bars making sure there's no young kids in the bars.
Hey, superstar Billy Graham, calm down, man.
Another long day at the Foster household, man.
We got Eastside P. That's a new chat member. Thank you for joining us, Eastside P. Make sure you like and subscribe, set your notifications, because we have a lot of stuff going on here on the Barroom Network. I'm the one talking. And who else do we have? I did see some other new guys. Obviously, Marcellus Jordan.
And Hizzy.
Tried to come on the show one day. We got C#777. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, C#777. Derek Carter, always good to have you back on the show. Thank you very much. Obviously, we know J2K and all that stuff.
Okay. Shorty, let me throw this out this is red meat for the chat. And you guys can also chime in. And we'll meet back at this same place, same bat time, and we'll talk about that issue. What is your number one position? Don't give me two, just fucking one that you wish had been addressed so far, but has not. And we'll come back and talk about it.
I'm done. I'm getting a computer and headphones and a microphone, man. That's it.
Just one position.
Hold on. Can we answer before you ask that question? Can you say that really quick? Because CJ Sharp, who's new to the chat, he's asking, do you guys like Van Ness? I believe he's JJ Watt's son. I'm sorry to stop you there, Nomad, but we need to acknowledge some of our new chat members here.
Okay, I appreciate and love you, motherfuckers. Guaranteed you came to the right place. But I seen two DT defensive tackles, and I see two RTs. And that's what I see so far.
I would hope that I would have wished that we could have addressed right tackle more, but there was nobody really available at a good price, so I'm not mad that we didn't. And the rest is draft.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You colored that up, Triple R, but we was trying to go in one spot.
I'll go with left guard.
Okay, that's easy.
So what was your original question was what, Nomad?
What position, one position in particular that you thought needed to be addressed and wasn't so far in free agency? What is it?
Cornerback.
Okay.
You know what? I agree.
I
So
could
we got
see the defensive line and the offensive line they did, but the defensive line they kind of did, or kind of have, I should say. But I think I would have expected at least a cornerback too. But that's not to say it's not going to happen yet. It's just they
Right.
might be waiting for the right guy,
Right.
a casualty, a cap casualty cut.
Right. I agree with you, Shorty. I was wrong. But no, man, what's your answer?
Yes, I am J-Rock. Yes.
I thought for sure they could get a little beef and a little speed and at the edge position. I thought it was above the 3-tech position based on Eberflus's way of selecting a 3-tech. I thought the edge position was better than the 3-tech. I thought there was a few guys there, David Onyemata, Javon Hargrave, and that's pretty much it to me. The rest of those guys weren't really fits to me. The big name guys that I'm talking about. I think the edge had more to offer. And I thought, and I still think that there are a couple of guys out there that can really help us. And so the edge is where I would have went.
So let me ask this question. Out of the people that's out there, do you guys believe that because I believe this. I believe Poles is looking for guys 26, 27, 28 years old. I think anybody above that, he's not really interested in at this point. So is there somebody within that age group that's out there that you think he should get?
Two dudes, Carl Lawson and Yannick Ndakwe. People always talking about Ndakwe, and that's just the name of the fucking week and the month. That's all people want to talk about is Ndakwe. Look at Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson is up there with, he may not have all of the sack numbers that you would wish somebody would have, but he's right up at the top with Nick Bosa, with Max Crosby, with pressures and quarterback hits and all that kind of stuff that people don't pay attention to because they're so wrapped up in the sack numbers.
He's available?
What's that?
He's available?
Carl Lawson, look him up.
Oh wow, I thought he was under contract with the Jets. My fault.
No, they're gonna let him go.
Like J2K says though, CJ Gardner, 1 year, $8 million. Come on.
Yeah.
Now he's with the Lions. Oh man.
Yeah, Lawson's 27 years old.
I don't want to say his name because he will show up, but I'm glad he's not here because
when you see a guy that's up there
Lions are
with
getting scary guys.
When you see a guy that's up there with Max Crosby and Nick Bosa as far as quarterback hits, quarterback pressures, that's the kind of guy you want to hunt and see if you can get his agent to acquiesce to what you're offering. Let the market die down a little bit like they're doing and put your offer back on the table. If you need to put $1 million or $2 more on it, this is when you strike. If you're Ryan Poles, he should have gotten. He's not technically on the market right now, but he's gonna be. And so that's why patience is a virtue in this situation.
Well, that's probably why he haven't signed Ndakwe, is because he's waiting for the guy we're talking about to come available.
Carl Lawson.
Yes. So maybe that's why he's not pressing on Ndakwe, because I still think you have to draft a defensive end. You just have to draft one at some point.
No question. And that's why I went heavy in that draft.
Somebody ask me the question. Ask me the question, Nomad.
Do you consider the defensive end position to be a really valued position in free agency?
No, wait. Because I never answered the question before this that we were talking about. What has he not gotten free agency, right? That was the question, right?
Right. What position in particular? One position that he hasn't addressed so far that you wish he would.
See, I got a messed up answer for that because I listened to Poles real hard, and he made a statement that you can find some really good value late in free agency.
Yes,
So I can't even answer that question yet. I mean, look, I'm like everybody else, man. I would love to have gotten a right tackle, or I would have loved to have gotten one of these guys, or pulled that cornerback to the Bears. Yeah. I'm not Poles. I haven't been doing this since I left the game of football. I left the game of football in 1981. So I don't, and I'm just saying my take is this guy's not done. He's still. Somebody said, oh, he's concentrating on the draft. I'm sure he's concentrating on the draft, but he's got some guy over here in the corner looking through everything going, hey, man, this might be somebody that he was maybe going to sign with him, and maybe he's going to sign with him, and that's all broken down. Now he's sitting at home bitching about he didn't get that contract. So you might have this guy sitting there saying, a week from now or whatever, or late in free agency, holy shit, he shocked us again, man. We didn't think he was going to pull this guy out of the heap because there have been all these other teams on him. And how did he sign him for $1 million less than anybody else?
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's the way I'm thinking of it. So I'll give you my one position, and that would have to be somebody else on that defensive line that I would want it.
Okay. How about this? Let me refine the question really quick. Give me a player that came off the board in free agency that you was like, God damn it, I wanted him here. Give me that one fucking player. Maybe that's easier for everybody.
I got nobody.
I got mine. You want me to shoot my bullet first?
Somebody start laying them because I can't think.
David Onyemata, defensive tackle.
I just wrote that down.
He's a monster, man. He's a fucking monster.
I'm thinking.
Somebody got C.J. Gardner-Johnson in the chat.
Right.
I got Marcus Davenport.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Marcellus Jordan. Please
Marcus Davenport.
Join the show.
That's a better question for everybody. Just it's a guy that was out there that just really like, God damn, I wish we could have got him. For a lot of guys, it's going to be Jawan Taylor.
No, not for that money. Not for that money.
For me, it's C.J. Gardner.
I was going to say that too. Somebody else in the chat did say that. I'm just trying to think if there's anybody, because like some of these guys I wanted, and then when I started looking into them or what they wanted for money or guaranteed money, I'm going, I don't want to overpay for these guys and then have a problem 2 years from now where I'm sitting on this large amount of money that I got to pay this guy that's not trying anymore or anything because he already got his money up front, whatever the reason is,
I'm sorry to cut you off, Foster, but J2K, you trick motherfucker. That was my next one, Ethan Post.
I was about, you know what? I was about to say the same thing. I said that J2K came up with a good one there. Yeah.
Trick motherfucker. That was my second one. Ethan Postage is a good one.
Yes.
Yo, trick ass J2K. God damn you. I was gonna come with that one.
No. Yup. Out of everybody, I don't care who we looked at. That is who I think we should have signed.
Yes.
The only guy. I don't care about anybody else.
I agree.
If we would have got him, that changes that whole offensive line. Just that one guy.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to have these other guys that maybe you can fit in and distribute. Plus, we're going to draft some offensive linemen, at least one. We got to get one.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
Wait, who did you say?
Fucking J2K. I can't be alone.
I also like what STC says. I mean, I understand the money, but David Montgomery, I'm going to miss him.
Man, stop crying, man. Stop all that bullshit.
I can't, man.
PJ,
I'm going to cry in my beer, bro.
He gone, man. He gone.
I don't drink beer, but
stop all that bullshit, man. Crying in your suds and shit.
Stop
all that bullshit.
I'm just sorry, man. I'm sorry.
PJ's over here getting ready for some warm milk.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But
hey, I saw it, but I'm having a problem with my phone. Ack Adam had a couple guys on his list. I think there was 2 guys that he wrote that he was picking. Can you pull that up? I'm having a problem. I gotta just get real shit instead of this damn
Byron
phone, man.
Murphy and David Montgomery.
What are you talking about?
Ooh.
Okay,
Ooh, Byron Murphy is a good one.
See?
Ooh.
Murphy.
PJ.
I'm writing that one down too, man. Fire.
Hey, Triple R, you a motherfucker there. That's a guy that I really covered.
Oh no, that was ACF.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh, that's on
Adam.
point right there.
I love it.
It caught my eye, but I couldn't get back to the thing, man. I knew
We
whatever.
got 3 guys, Shorty. You the only one out. A guy that you had covered it that we did not get.
In free agency.
Yes, sir. And chat, keep chiming in, y'all.
I have to say, this is Byron Murphy.
No, you can't be using Google for help, man. That's some bullshit.
I'm just bringing up your Byron Murphy for you guys.
Who is he? Wide receiver or safety or what? What is he? Cornerback?
Oops. I don't know. What is he, Nomad?
He's a bad little mother. He's a slot.
Okay.
He's a
there you
slot
go.
corner.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
how many people were bitching about Marcus Davenport?
Somebody
what?
mentioned him in the chat.
Go ahead, PJ.
Somebody mentioned. I said somebody mentioned him in the chat. Marcus Davenport. I mean, I'm not a fan, but somebody mentioned him.
A guy that you're asking me who the player that I would have liked the Bears to get that they did not get in free agency.
J-Rock.
For me, it's Deron Payne. That was the guy I was hoping for. I honestly
never
didn't
hit free agency, man.
I
He
know,
never
but
hit free agency.
true. Okay, so after free agency, the guy that I wanted that the Bears didn't get? Man, that's a good question, man.
Fucking Cliff would be bringing his meatloaf into
I don't even know,
negotiations
dude.
and shit.
Don't say Darnell Washington, man.
Here, let me ask.
Don't say Darnell. I wish we could have gotten Darnell Washington.
All right. Hey, Shorty, what about this, though? Would you have wanted to pay Deron Payne $22 million?
Hell.
No.
No.
That's what he's getting, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so honestly, I thought they were going Okereke, so I was kind of looking forward to that.
Don Burr.
I was just looking for some defensive line help, and I was kind of thinking maybe a Jadeveon Clowney would have been someone that could have been added to the defensive line group for some veteran leadership, no matter what anyone thinks of him.
Hey now.
But like I really overall I guess I'm happy with what we have right now. I haven't been there wasn't really any player I was targeting, and there really hasn't been any dissatisfaction with anything that they have done in free agency. And what's really weird is I'm having deja vu right now. Isn't that weird?
Okay.
You guys know what deja vu is right now. Just as I was saying all that, I was starting to have deja vu. That was really weird. It was almost hard to finish what I was saying. I was like, wow, I'm having deja vu.
Okay. Let me ask the chat, and I'm gonna ask you guys this too. And be for real. Don't be no motherfucker that's coming out of your ass with some shit. I'm talking about a real deal scenario that you can see playing out. And I'm gonna ask you guys, give me one freaking person that you will be willing to acquiesce a trade for, that you'll be willing to give up a pick or two for. One guy. Just one guy.
I think we've talked about that.
No, I don't think so. One trade, a player that's on another team that you'd be willing to come up off, somebody that might come available. I can think of a couple names. PJ said one, Chase Young. I can tell you another
Buckner.
one, DeForest Buckner. I can tell you another one.
Sweat.
It would be what's the end from Minnesota? What's his name? Zadarius.
Smith.
Yes. Okay, let's start there. Anybody else I can think of?
Me
Michael
personally,
Sweat.
oh,
I see Derrick Henry. I see DeForest Buckner, just for starters.
I would love to get rid of Whitehair and be able to get boy from Indiana, Nelson.
Quentin Nelson.
Quentin Nelson.
Quentin Nelson and Davis as our guards. Sign me up.
Okay. Nelson, we got a guard. We're willing to trade for a guard. What you got, Triple R?
That's way too much speculation because I don't know who's available. I don't know the position, so I'll defer to the professionals on that one.
Oh man, come on, man! You ain't be shooting no blanks. You on the bar room, motherfucker.
No, because I
Take
mean,
your
you
shot
look
and
at
make
other
a pick.
players on other teams. It's like, all right, well, who's available? Who's the restricted RFAs that it's like, all right, we could possibly snake them out. You know, I don't know their situations like that, and I just can't get that involved with it.
Okay, what if you got it? Let's narrow it down. You got a choice to grab an injured Chase Young or a healthy DeForest Buckner. Shoot your shot.
Buckner. I'm always going to defer to the healthy guys.
Gotcha. Come on, Foster. What you got?
I wrote it out. I said it 3 times because I don't see Washington doing anything with Chase Young. He's got 2 years left on his contract. So we pick up Michael Sweat because he's got one. He's got one. That's my guy. I would pull him if we can get the right trade for that. And then the other thing I want to say is, Shorty, quit being a fucking content Bears fan. You're pissing me off. Somebody's got to make you fuckers laugh because I'm fucking dying over here. And I'm going to be prepared better, man.
Wait a
Thank
second.
you, no man.
What do you mean by that? Am I because of my last pick? Am I being too content by not?
I don't make any sense. So just ignore what the fuck I'm saying and go on with the show.
From the chat, you got J Rock and J2K saying Jeffrey Simmons.
Simmons.
I gotta tell you, I am so content with where this team is right now.
Boston cracking my ass.
It is the most content I've ever been in my entire life.
That moment killing me over here.
Then he does an Irish goodbye and just fucks off.
Man, this is gonna make some great content later on, man. We building this shit, man. We really doing it like we thought we was gonna do, man. Characters,
I really
man. All these characters.
I really would love Chase Young though. I think getting him on that rookie draft pick. I mean, on that rookie contract, that would be nice.
You don't have to keep jumping out to change your name here. You just go to the little dots on your phone and just go fucking edit name, Foster.
Dude, I keep dropping my fucking phone or it hits my hand. Not doing it on purpose. I'm just like, all right, fuck it. Since it's here, I'll change it.
Is Myles Garrett available?
You missed it. I was just telling everyone that I'm just so content with this team where it is, Foster. It's just the most content I've ever been in my life.
Hey Foster. Hey Foster. My granddad had a pet.
Yeah.
He had a hold on, Foster. Hold on. My granddad had a pair of McGregor sweatpants, and I didn't know what the fuck it was. And he McGregor, and I was just like, "What the McGregor? Where'd you get these from, pops?" And then he was just like, "Man, these sweats." He said he got them in the 80s or 90s or something. And I just want to know, man, have you ever had a pair of McGregor sweatpants?
I've had a pair of McGregor sweatpants. I've had a pair of McGregor gym shoes, man.
How about Zubaz? You ever have any Zubaz?
No. Fucking Converse. Everybody wore Converse in the 70s. There was no other gym shoes unless you had like Kmart.
I got a pop out, guys. This dude making me pissed, man. Hold on. I got to go.
Back at him.
Hold on. You don't remember Pro Kids?
Pro Kids?
Yeah.
Pro Kids?
Yeah.
In the 70s, right?
Hell yeah.
In the
Yeah.
70s. So you had Converse,
Yeah.
you had Pro Kids, and you had Pony. Remember Pony?
Pony.
Yeah,
Yes.
Pony. Fuck
Yeah,
Pony.
you had Pony. Yeah.
And the,
So-
and the kids that wore the Pro Kids, we beat them up, took their shoes, tied them together, and threw them on the telephone lines because we were assholes.
So yeah, I remember those.
Pony,
shoes
I
back
had.
in the day.
Matter of fact, I still got a freaking pair of ponies, man, somewhere in this house. I shit you not.
They were some real light gym shoes. They were real light. Sure was.
Real
To
light.
To answer J2 quick, K, yes, the question was who would you trade for? And yeah, I mean Myles Garrett is a beast, but I don't think Cleveland would give him up though. That's why I didn't say him.
I mean, honestly, I love what J2K is saying here, man. Trade for
J2K
Myles
is on it.
Garrett. Like they have the massage therapist professional now on their team, so they have to pay that guy. You know, so they can't pay that defensive end. Don't they have
Yeah.
what's his
Watson-
name? The wide receiver now from Dallas, Cooper.
Yeah, they got Cooper and Watson.
So, come on, man, share a little bit of the wealth there. Let's
Did they
do
also
a trade.
just sign Njoko to a nice contract? The tight end.
I think they did, yeah.
So yeah, they're going to have some money problems here pretty quick.
This guy keeps hopping out and hopping back in with a different name.
But that's kind of cool part.
Somebody in chat said LA Gear.
He's got
I'll
that.
whoop his ass.
You got that fucking dial-up internet. Foster, you have Foster. You have to plug
LA
that.
Gear.
Plug the telephone line into your phone. It'll get a better connection.
Telephone. What?
Yeah, y'all leave my guy alone, man.
It's my
Y'all
dumb ass because I'm running around actually doing things while we're talking. I don't know if you guys watch my background.
Are you making
Fucking
meatloaf?
thing's always moving because I'm insane. I don't stop.
This guy's over here making meatloaf, guys.
He's on his microwave.
Fucking Cliff. Cliff, get the fuck out of here and take the meatloaf you rode in on.
Heck no. Heck no.
What the
Uh,
3 hours and 20 minutes.
Smiling, laughing
Be right back,
motherfuckers. That's how the whole world should be.
Man.
Everybody.
Hey, Cliff, get off that meatloaf.
No, he's supposed to leave and fucking leave on fucking the meatloaf you rode in on or some shit like that. The other hey, did you guys see the other night? He kept going, my meatloaf's coming, my meatloaf's coming. I don't know what he's bragging about.
Hey, Foster, did he put a horseshoes on it?
Hey, Foster, that was after he got done vacuuming his lawn.
Yes, we did discuss that. Fucking what the hell is that? 12:30 in the morning. Cliff's, it's 12:30 in the morning and Cliff's out eating a meatloaf sandwich with the fucking lawnmower with some towels wrapped around it so we don't wake up the neighbors.
No, you're missing the joke. Not a lawnmower, a vacuum cleaner. He's using a vacuum cleaner on his lawn.
The dial-up
Foster
internet.
killing me, man. Put that motherfucker on mute, man. I can't stand it. My stomach hurts. Oh.
His neighbors are watching with his vacuum cleaner. He's got an extension cord. He's vacuuming his lawn. He's like, oh shit, I gotta put the meatloaf in.
Foster hurts my stomach, man. Oh,
Cliff, we love you.
crazy,
We
man.
love you.
Every
You gotta
time we have these shows and Cliff talking about cooking something, I'm with him now. I'm like, man,
Cliff, you gotta
Meatloaf,
come on the next
pizza.
open mic night.
man, golly.
Cliff to get on the meatloaf that he rode in.
You know what? It's funny because I told Cliff in chat, I was like, Cliff, you gotta come on the next open mic night. And he was like, it wasn't even in this, it was in like in a different chat. And he's like, do you need me? Let me know when you need me. I'm like, I don't need you. I would like you to come on the show.
Dude, only let me know when you need me because I really need to vacuum this lawn and cook some meatloaf while I'm making a pizza. So don't bother me unless you really need me.
Man, put a saddle on that meatloaf.
I'll tell you what.
He's actually working on a meatloaf pizza right now, Nomad. You just didn't want to tell anybody.
But yet everyone wants to know what is eating, J-Rock. What kind of pizza?
Oh my God, this is gonna be a great clip, man. Oh my goodness.
Oh man,
that was fucking hilarious.
Well, Nancy, I knew I shouldn't have let Shorty lead the show. It's my Ronald Reagan. Well,
I got cramps, man.
It's funny. It's funny because like most shows end with on Ballroom end with like movies or something, like, like BTS or Dan and Eldo Bare Their Souls always end with movies, but this show always ends with food. And I actually kind of love it because it does signify me. Like I love food, man. I love Italian beefs. I've said it a fucking million times.
You love what now?
Italian beefs.
You know what? Because
that's because he's gotten sick of Cliff Meatloaf.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of wannabe fat motherfuckers on the show. Is what it is.
Not me, man. I'm 178 pound, 5 foot 8.5 inch defensive end. Believe it or not, I played that for one game.
Same size, man.
I see what you were up to there, PJ. You like what?
Same size, Nomad.
I'm about 180.
Yeah, I'm right there. Depends on if Cliff's making meatloaf tomorrow night or not.
Hold on a second. Look at what he's saying.
If I shoot down to Florida and grab some of Cliff's meatloaf, I might weigh in at 185. Unless he pulls the vacuum out and takes the lint out of my belly button or some shit.
Guys,
hey, bullshit aside, I discovered an Italian meatloaf recently, man. That shit's something else, man.
Oh yeah.
Anybody ever eaten that?
I'm half Dago. I eat that shit. We live on that shit.
Man, that's just pretty good.
Hey, I'm a Shortino. Mr. Shorty is my last name. Shortino. It's the Shorty. All my friends called me Shorty, so I just made my last name. I just turned it into Shorty instead of SHORTY. It became SCIORTY. So
all right, man. We heard that shit last week. No.
Look at what Cliff's saying down here.
Scrody, you're already a legend, Scrody, on the Northwest side, man. I've set up about 50 Scrody Fitz jokes, and I can't find the book where I wrote them all down. I was hoping to bring them on tonight. Yeah, that was going to be my link. Dude, I went to the doctor, and you know what? I was ripping my balls out till they were bleeding, and he looked at me and he said, "Dude, take it easy. You're just throwing some Scrody fits."
He killing you, man. Just get on the cross. Just get on the cross and just stay there, man.
Can I fucking tell you, since we're on it, can I tell you a hilarious story? I will make it short. We were in Colorado, and we were at a brewery up in the mountains. And I'm sitting next to this old mountain man. He's got a long gray beard. He's got like a mountain hat on. And he's sitting next to me, and we're enjoying our beer. And we're talking. I'm like, man. He's like, yeah, I live right over there. I'm like, man, it must be so beautiful to live up here, in these mountains. He's like, yeah, let me show you the view out of my front window. He's like 78 years old or something. He pulls out his phone. And you know how when somebody pulls out their phone and they start scrolling it in front of you, you're like I always get like I don't want to look. So he's like scrolling through these pictures, like, look at that. That's like the view out of his front window of the mountains into the valley. I'm like, that is gorgeous. And I'm thinking, no, there's no way there's going to be something obscene just, coming next. And boom, boom, boom. It gets to his dick. And guys, it looks like he took a picture of it to send it to his doctor. It looked like a donut with a mushroom cap sitting on the center of the donut, you know, and it was like scabby around the outsides of the donut of the mushroom cap.
Hell, man.
And he
How
scrolls
good did you look at
to
this dick?
it, and we he scrolls to it, and we both. I go, oh. And now I'm stuck sitting there with this guy, and I'm just like, pat him on the back. I'm like, man, don't worry, man, it's happening now.
I wasn't gonna do that to you, Shorty, but everybody keeps thinking I'm like 75.
Shorty took the man's phone and they're sparing the screen.
It was like I willed it to happen because I just like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna see like a dick pic in here.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Surprise!
I don't even know. Like, that's the best way I could describe it with the quick flash I saw. It was like a donut with a mushroom cap just sitting on the hole. You know?
Hold on.
I had that disease. I had that disease once.
Oh god,
it was terrible, man.
Was that you?
They
You kind of look like
They
you.
put acid on you to fix it.
If you had a long beard, you'd almost look like him.
Only thing I was saying is, why is
Dude, it was me.
Why is Shorty? Why is it always you in dicks? That's what I'm trying to
Hey, PJ, because he the type of guy that put on a tux and wear a cummerbund.
I was looking
God knows what else.
Put on a tux and do a Drippy Dicks commercial.
Oh shit!
Don't put on the cummerbund, man.
Uh-oh.
Don't put that on, man.
Uh-oh, should I upload the Drippy Dicks commercial right
Hey,
now?
Cliff said if there's a show tomorrow, he'll play with his muscles.
We're already losing people, viewers, because we're getting ready to close this up anyway. I might as well bring on the Drippy Dicks commercial. Have you guys seen that?
AC Adam is correct.
The what?
You never look, my guy. You never look.
Ever.
The Drippy Dicks commercial that I made. Have you seen that?
Look, man.
Oh, here we go. Let's see.
Don't do it, man.
There we go.
You guys are a fucking blast.
It might be like I made a short of it, which is a minute long. This is like the full thing is almost 2 minutes. You guys want to see it? I'll play it for you.
Fuck yeah.
Let's do it.
Do you want to
Greetings. I'm Dr. Dick Richards. Have you ever thought you were done going pee-pee, only moments later to find a drip or 2 or 3 in your underwear? Have you ever felt ashamed? Well, feel ashamed no more. Even the iconic legendary musician Elvis Presley has had his own share of drippy dick. For all the males and the they, them, there, though, thou arts out there, anyone with a dick, I've invented a revolutionary patented design called Drippy Dicks. Our state-of-the-art patented design can absorb up to 2.5 cups of pee-pee. Place adhesive side down in your banana hammock. Watch Drippy Dicks go to work. The banana hammock is still dry. Just look at that absorption. Drippy Dicks. Made by a dick for a dick. Drippy Dicks.
I should have
And
put.
thanks, Maxi Pad, for the recommendation.
I should have put that on your eyes so you can see that. So you couldn't see that dick.
Oh, I had Cliff's chat up. If I didn't have that, you would have seen when I pulled the thing aside. I was wearing the the banana hammock.
Man, I'm just saying, that guy looks just like you, Shorty. You look just like you, man.
Well, I mean, kinda, but it's kind of like the Superman thing without the glasses, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
And I'm actually bald.
Oh, okay.
Man, let's wrap this motherfucker up before we get killed by all the crazy shit that can come at us.
Hilarious.
Unless you
Nomad,
playing-
Nomad. Yeah, let's wrap this motherfucker up. We'll start a new show in 2 hours.
Pretty much. Let's just go by
It'll be
that.
Saturday.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, you guys are awesome, man. Everyone here in chat. I know we're winding down here, so it's been a great show. You know, just impromptu coming on here to just talk some Bears and have a good time tonight on a Friday night. It's been a long couple of weeks, and I've been just dragged down by work. So I was planning on doing a couple other things tonight, but I was like, I want to talk with my guys.
What is Foster doing, man? He's smoking a cigarette to us.
Hey, Foster, stop playing. Stop playing. Hey, stop playing. One of these days that might be for real. We might have to call 911 for your ass. Stop playing.
Wow.
Oh my
You
goodness.
muted. You muted, Foster.
He need to be muted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said that to Aldo yesterday. I'm like, dude, he's talking. He's going on. He's muted. Me and Vinny are laughing. I'm like, dude, leave him alone because he needs to be fucking muted once in a while. We all do. I didn't hear what you said. I didn't hear what you said, Nomad. The last sentence you were saying when I was laughing.
No, man, don't be playing like you're dying and shit, man. That might be for real one of these days, man. We don't worry, it's some shit.
No, I always got people around me because it's going to happen someday, but not here.
No.
My family motto: you won't catch us going around dying. They'll have to kill us first. I was only dead twice once. Actually, that's true. My sister died twice. My dad had 18 heart attacks. My brother had the Widowmaker. My cousin had the Widowmaker. I almost had the Widowmaker like right around when we went to the show at Rosemont. I literally was right there, man. You won't catch us going around dying. They'll have to fucking kill us first.
That man said he only died twice once.
That's right. You
He's
got
something
that.
else. He's something else. You know that right off the top.
Well, most people just look at me and go, "Man, there's something wrong with that guy," and I'm like, "All right."
I don't think that at all.
Life's short, man. Enjoy it all. I always, you gotta laugh.
Mhm.
My phone's gonna die anyway, so you guys have a great night. Get some rest, and you will hear from me again, whether you want to or not.
That sounds like a plan. That sounds like a threat.
Man.
Peace, my brothers.
All right, Foster.
I wish
Peace
I
out, my brother.
wish I knew 50 Fosters, man. I love that motherfucker, man.
Foster's
Well,
definitely.
dude, I gotta get you. We gotta hook up. I gotta talk to you, Nomad. All you fucking guys. Dan's got my number. Get an email to me or something. I'll get a hold of you. We'll do something soon.
All right, buddy. We're gonna have you sign off. Say your last
Stay
words.
safe.
and we'll
God
go around
bless.
the clock.
God bless us all, everyone. Damn it.
Peace, brother.
Be good, man.
We'll see you next time.
Mhm.
Triple R, my man.
Right on. Yeah. Before I say my good nights, got to give a shout out to a couple fellas doing the pro day at the old schoolyard. Kobe Cummings, Isaac Wallace, AJ Creighton, and DJ Sturgis. Y'all have your business, boys. Maybe see you at Bears one day. Big up to Nomad, Foster, Shorty, PJ. Everybody in the chat, all the barflies. Thanks for having me on again. And until next time, bear down, motherfuckers.
We appreciate you, brother. PJ.
All right. Let me give some shout outs here. I would like to shout out J2K. I would like to shout out Cliff. I would like to shout out who else we got in this chat that my normals, my regulars here.
Derek Carter. We got James Ford saying great show.
AC Adam.
King Buka World.
Man, yes. Good man. I love the chat. J Rock.
J Rock. Yep.
Got Little Shank. Got my brothers. He joined us tonight. So man, that was special.
STC.
Yep. James Ford. P Wheel. So all the people in the chat, man, I truly appreciate you. C Sharp 777.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate this show. Thanks again, Shorty, for having me. It's always a blast. I have a good time every time I'm here. And man, Nomad, you're a brother from another mother. So on that note, you guys have a good night. Peace.
We love you, PJ. You are always welcome on the show. As you know, I have to find this comment that's way up there and get rid of it right there. There you go. So we appreciate you, PJ. You know, you're always welcome on the show. You always have great insight, and you kind of help us keep ourselves in check a little bit. You know, I like it.
Thank you, man. Love you guys, man. Be good now.
Love you too,
man.
PJ. Nomad, great show. Guys, we absolutely love you in chat. You have any last parting words, my friend, from this impromptu open mic night?
Well, really quickly, without getting long-winded, man, you guys in the chat. First of all, let me put you guys to the side for a second and really appreciate the guys that's on this show. Mr. Shorty, PJ, Foster, Triple R, bang up ass fucking job at producing a show in the middle, well, the beginning of the weekend where nobody seen it coming. All we did was put out the flyer and say, hey, you want to be involved? Shorty did that. He did the legwork on that, and much respect to you for doing it. However, we got to a point and we all, I would say, enjoyed ourselves. We had a good time talking about real football, and we had a good time just bullshitting around with each other and just being dudes.
Hanging out on a Friday night.
Right. And we even got a couple of new sub or new visitors to the chat room and the show. I don't know how many new subs we got, but please do me a favor. Post this out on YouTube or whatever, Twitter, whatever you got. Post it out there. I don't see enough of that going on. I don't see people posting out the show. We need to bring more people in. We need to bring more people in so that we get a more livelier audience. We get a bigger audience. And so to you guys in the chat, man, thank you for showing up impromptu and being willing to be involved in the show. Every one of you guys, J2K, Mr. Mayhem, Derek Carter, Desmond, all you guys, man. I can't think of all the names that I saw in here, but I want to be flooded with all those names so I can forget about it. That's a good show. And so I love you guys, man. I mean that with all my heart. Keep showing up, keep showing out. I'll be here to try to help do this shit with you guys. And so thank you, man. And that's all I got to say.
Well said, my friend. It's been a great impromptu show. I hope we helped make your Friday night a little more fun. And make sure you like and subscribe to this content because there's a lot more to come. This is exciting. This is a very exciting season. It's in a very exciting time of year for this season, and it's only going to get more exciting in the next few weeks to come. So make sure that you stay tuned. We love all of you, and I'm going to end it with my 1, 2, 3 Bears.